LaFontaine's stick. Loose at center, and a nice hit by Mogilny again on Peter Doris, and interference, says referee Denny Morrell. Alexander, you can't do that. Mogilny goes to the box. The Budweiser scoreboard. The Caps still lead late in the first on Long Island. Islanders lead the series 2 games to 1. Later on, Quebec and Montreal at the Forum.
Well, Alexander Mogilny doing it all. Playoff hockey. Strange things happen. He's throwing his weight around. You don't see that much in the regular season. And then coming back into his own zone, he goes down and he blocks the Bruins shot in front of goalie Grand Pierre. But on his last hit, he got caught. Durst did not have the puck. And you can't hit a player without the puck without getting an interference call. And that's where Alexander is now, in the box. 2 minutes for interference.
You know, it's funny. When he made that hit, I thought that's going to be a penalty. Then I didn't see Denny Morrell's arm go up immediately. And then about 5 seconds later, his arm went up.
Well, he probably heard you, and that's why he made the call.
Or maybe he couldn't believe Mogilny was actually hitting people. And in the notes, the face-off. So the Bruin power play unit back out there. Oates, Neely, Bort. Also out there is Joey Juneau, Glenn Wesley. This is Juneau with it. Cross-ice pass, Bort to Wesley. Blocker save, rebound, Juneau is just wide. Fuhr quick with a blocker, and Juneau missing just wide if Fuhr's right. There's a loose stick on the ice. Somebody down there without a stick. Juneau again on Fuhr, but he saw it all the way. Goes down to make the save. He's almost impregnable in that low angle.
Well, he covers the net so well. He's always square to the shooter. You know the Bruins, when they have time, they're going to try to go high blocker side. But you don't always have time. You're rushed. And here's a good shot again by the Bruins. There's Wesley. He was going high blocker side. That's where he wanted the shot. That's also a high shot, high glove side. So the Bruins know their best chance of beating Grand Pierre is in the top part of the net.
And as we continue to look at that replay, there is the low shot that Fuhr covers up. You know, Coach John Muckler, the Sabres, said something interesting. The great part about Fuhr is he's totally in control of his bodily movements out there. That is something that not all goaltenders possess.
No, there are a lot of goaltenders that flip and flop around. They make saves. Fuhr is down, he's up, he's side to side, but he's doing it in control.
Bort the wrist shot, and Fuhr is there again. Ray Bort let one go low. And Fuhr gets the glove down to help make the save.
Another thing the Bruins are doing, you'll see when the puck's back at the point, not one but 2 men are trying to line themselves up with a shooter. So Grand Pierre is looking at the puck through a real maze, because if you have 2 Bruins there, you're going to need 2 Sabres to check him. So he's got 4 people that he has to find the puck through. And there's a big chance that it can tip off someone, will be a rebound. But so far, he's not only made the save, he has hung on to the rebound.
Minute 26 left to the Boston power play. Oates and Hannon. To the left of Grant Fuhr. Oates wins it back to Bort. Ray Bort has trouble controlling, and it comes loose to center. Bort forced to dump it back in. Joey Juneau gets there first. Centering pass. Neely can't quite get there. Cam Neely had some room, and the Sabres clear.
In a power play like that, you don't want to throw it out blind. You have good possession. You have the man advantage. Take your time and make a sure pass. Now you're losing 15, 20 seconds because you give the Sabres a freebie to get it down the ice.
Juneau has his stick taken away, but he still pursues the puck, and Presley buries him into the boards. Neely takes a hard hit, and Bob Sweeney tries to clear, but puts it right on Bort's stick. The high shot, and off the part of the glove hand of Fuhr. Off the outside of the glove, and Buffalo clears again. You can see a lot of these shots are going towards the upper part of the net, just like the Bruins had planned. Fuhr quick with the glove hand tonight. Juneau scores! Adam Oates with a picture-perfect pass, and Joey Juneau buried it for Boston.
Boy, oh boy, what an alert play by Adam Oates. That's why he had over 100 points this year, folks. If you're open, you don't have to be open long. He'll get the puck on your stick. A cross pass. Fuhr had no chance. He's got to follow that puck on Oates' stick. He's going post to post. And Juneau makes the big yell. And there it is behind him. What a tremendous pass by Adam Oates to Joey Juneau.
Cannot blame Grant Fuhr for that one. He had no shot. Juneau was there on the doorstep. Power play goal for the Boston Bruins. Their second of the night at 14-15. So Boston late in the first period takes a 2-1 lead. In a game they must win. In fact, all of them are games they must win. Loose puck now in the Boston zone. LaFontaine controls. Pat LaFontaine, it never quite got through to the goaltender Moe. Hit Mogilny in the back. And Boston finally controls, and this is Peter Duris at center ice. Duris tries to get around Grant Ledger. Can't do it. May with it for Buffalo. Absorbs a hard hit there from Steve Hines. Pulling with it in front. Score! Peter Duris. Two goals in 35 seconds.
The Sabres turning the puck over in their own zone. Hines in for the forecheck. And you'll see the Sabres have the puck here. There it's blocked by Hines. And here's a good play by Poulin to Duris. And he wastes no time. It's on his stick, it's off his stick, and it's into the net, beating Grant Fuhr alongside. And Fuhr tries to get the leg down, the glove over, but he cannot make the save. The Bruins doing a good job coming in, taking the man. You take the man, you force a turnover or a hurried play, and there they capitalize on a Buffalo turnover.
And that's what you can do when you have the lead, and this is the first game in the series that the Bruins have had the lead.
Well, it'll be interesting now to see how the Sabres respond. They've had the luxury of playing with the lead. Now we'll see the character of this team. They're going to have to fight back.
Juneau from Oates and Leach made it 2-1, and 35 seconds later, Duris from Dave Poulin make it 3-1. And Poole, they wanted a penalty, none forthcoming. Mogilny in his own zone almost gave that away to Tim Sweeney. That was close. May and LaFontaine carry to the Boston zone, but the Bruins playing with a lot of confidence. Ted Donato takes it away. 4:35 left first period. Tom Means and Jim Schoenfeld from the Owen in Buffalo. This crowd came tonight expecting a party. So far, the Bruins have been uninvited guests, taking a 3-1 lead. Audette sends Randy Wood into the Boston zone. Wood holds, score! Dale Howard-Chuck brings Buffalo back within one, I think.
Well, they're going to check with the video goal judge. The Bruins are telling the referee, Dennis Morel, that puck was kicked in by Dale Howard-Chuck. And Morel is over now. He's going to the telephone. And now we can take a look at it here, folks. We should have a good view of this. There's the kick to get the play started. Now Wood's going to see Howard-Chuck driving to the net. Puts the brakes on. Here's the pass. There's Dale Howard-Chuck. And yes, folks, it looks to me like it was directed in off the skate. Unless there's a Bruin stick there. From a different angle, we'll see if we get a better look. Look at Dale Howard-Chuck's skate, number 10.
Can't tell there.
And we cannot see the puck there. But if I had to guess, and this might be the definitive look for us, that puck is directed in, and I believe the call will be no goal.
Well, the crowd is booing. Denny Morel is on the phone. You know, there's a question there of intent as well.
Well, it's a matter of direction, yeah. Dale Howard-Chuck, he's a wily old veteran, and if he's going to do it unnoticed, he can do it as well as anyone in the league. But a situation like that and the advantage of the video goal judge, I think that is a real good thing the league has put in. It solves a lot of arguing, a lot of dispute, a lot of hard feelings the players may have for the official. And this is the best look at it as Howard-Chuck goes, misses his stick, his skates are there, and he's following it all the way. I'm pretty sure it'll be disallowed, but we'll wait and see. No, it isn't. Wow.
Well, Denny Morel signaled a goal, I think with the judge in his mind, if I can read it, Jim, saying he didn't mean to kick it in. He was just pursuing the play, and that's the break.
Well, that's his call. I can disagree with him, and I certainly do on that one, but he gets paid to make those decisions, and they have a certain criteria to follow. So in his judgment, the puck was not directed in intentionally by Dale Howard-Chuck. However, it did go in off his skate.
So Howard-Chuck gets the goal. Randy Wood will get one assist, and Donald Audette gets another at 15 minutes and 46 seconds. So it's back to a one-goal Boston lead. Bad bounce off the boards in the Buffalo zone, but no Bruin there to take advantage of it. The Sabres will clear it. Icing will be the call. No, icing is waved off. Shaw didn't get there soon enough. And the Sabres are in the Boston zone. Forechecking everything that moves for a moment. Leach now breaks into the Buffalo zone. Leach and Bodger. Bodger with a nice poke check, and Himmelev gets the puck out of the zone.
Steve Leach is one of the Bruins we're talking about. He's one of the second or third line guys, although he's playing with the big line now, that has to produce. He has been silent thus far in the playoffs.
Dave Hanna with it. Rips it around the boards, back to center. Don Sweeney. Sutton will take it the other way for Buffalo. 3:22 and counting in the first period. 5 goals, 3 for Boston and 2 for the Buffalo Sabres. Puck was off of Hines, so no icing, and Hines is ripped into the boards behind the net.
Well, Grant Ledger is coming to the aid of his defense partner, trying to give him a little more time. Hines is in pursuit, and Ledger runs the pick, but he does it too vigorously.
Once again, the Boston Bruins will be on the power play as Grant Ledger is called for hooking. 2 minutes and 16:53. The Bruins are 2 for 2 on their power play tonight, Jim. So a key moment in this game for the Sabres. Ray Bourque controls the faceoff. Joey Juneau, who scored in the last Boston power play. Adam Oates, who sent Juneau up. Oates with 7 assists now in this series. Cross ice pass over the stick of Wesley, and it comes loose to center. And Wesley's got to go back for it. And Wesley's being hounded there by Bob Sweeney, and he doesn't like it a little bit. Bourque sends it in around the board. Juneau is on it for Boston. 1:21 left to go in the Boston Bruin power play. Oates trying to hit Neely in the corner. Bourque at the point. Quick shot is deflected wide by Neely. Oates in front to Juneau, just wide. Oh, Juneau had some net to shoot at. Just didn't connect. Joey Juneau very impressive tonight on the power play unit. And Neely standing in front of the Buffalo net. Oates with it. Out into the face-off circle. Oates has a lot of room to shoot if he wants to, and it's blocked very nicely there by Smellick. Big block by Schmelik. Not only blocks the puck, but he gains the blue line, and the Bruins have to regroup. 35 seconds left in the Boston power play. 1:40 left in the period. And shot from center ice, deflecting over the glass into the crowd. The faceoff will come out just to the center ice side of the Buffalo Sabres zone.
Joey Juneau is only the 5th rookie in the National League to record 100 or more points, so they need some production from him. He's been playing hurt. I believe it's his ribs that are banged up, but he doesn't look hurt tonight. He's making good plays with the puck, Tom. And right after we're through here with the first period, stay tuned for the Dodge Intermission Report. We'll have highlights of the Capitals-Islanders game, Quebec and Montreal as well. Jack Edwards, Bill Clement, and let me see, who is Al Morganti? Yes, will be there in the studio. Our resident hockey genius, Al Morganti. I can't wait to get back to see you, Al. Minute and a half to go in the period. Still 20 seconds left of the Boston power play. They have time for maybe one good rush. Shaw brings it in. Centering pass for Cartolo. Smolinski ends up with it. Smolinski on the rebound, and nobody can get any wood on it. And Fjord covers up with 9 seconds left in the Boston power play. That thing was just sitting there like a pumpkin, and nobody could get any wood on it for Boston. Ray Bourque coming back on the ice as the Bruins trying to jam another one past Grant Fuhr. Bourque has taken a lot of physical punishment in this series, Tom. The Sabres wanted to key on him. They want him to make Bourque work for every inch of the ice, and he has done that. And he plays through just about anything. You hear absolutely no complaints from Ray Bourque. Brad May from the Sabres has done especially good work against Ray Bourque. And after May ran him tonight, the next shift, Darren Kimball was on the ice opposite Ray, and they had words, so we'll have to see if something develops there. Obviously, Coach Sutter does not want Bourque to be a target for the Buffalo Sabres. Bourque has one more shot on the power play, hits a stick, and goes into the crowd with 5 seconds left. In the Boston man advantage, Bourque has been on the ice for about, actually over half the period, 10 minutes even.
And we still have 1:12 to go here in the first period. Ray Bork is going to get a lot of ice time.
Well, they must be resting him in the first period if he's only played 10 minutes. It's amazing. I'll tell you what, you watch the Boston Bruins, and it seems every shift, every key shift for sure. Number 77 is there. Terrific player, very durable.
And a whistle right after the puck was dropped. 1 second ticked off the clock. They'll do it again. 4 seconds left in the Boston power play. Dan McCourt will do the honors again. Dale Howard-Chuck having words with Dennis Burrell. If I were Dale, I'd leave the referee alone.
That's right. Absolutely right. I think Dale's gotten away with two. I thought the one could have been a penalty when Hines was going to the net, and certainly that one, in my opinion, should have been disallowed, but I don't get paid to make those decisions.
And now Adam Oates is being thrown out by Dan McCourt. Leach will step in for him. And Bodger controls the faceoff. That'll do it for the remainder of the power play time. The teams are now at even strength, but Boston still has it in the Buffalo goal. Kartoloff behind the net is rudely bumped off by Bodger. But Boston still has it. Bork, Fury's down. There's an open net, but Buffalo has the puck. And Adam Oates has taken a few shoves in there from Brad May. Or no, from Smellick. Oates was on top of the goaltender, Grant Fuller. Under a minute to go now. First period. LaFontaine to the slot. Can't control the bouncing puck. The ice is kind of choppy. May takes a hit from Bork in the corner. Howard-Chuck centering pass and over the stick of Sutton with 25 seconds left in the period. Hines breaking in. Tries to get a shot away. It's blocked off by LaFontaine, who can't control Oates. Polizzi scores! Another giveaway, Jim Schoenfeld, and another Boston goal.
Well, the Bruins are working tonight, that's for sure. Their hustle is causing turnovers. And when the Sabres turn the puck over, the Bruins are quick to capitalize on it. Again, it's another alert play here by Adam Oates. He's going to get the puck and slide the pass through three Sabres. Leach actually fans in the shot. It's a good thing that little changeup fooled Grant Fuhr.
And Adam Oates has eyes in the back of his head with some of the passes he's making.
Oh, isn't he remarkable? Game after game, he is such a treat to watch. I love watching players with that great playmaking ability. It's just a treat. You wonder how they find these guys open and get the puck to them so quickly.
Oates is the man just to the left of Steve Leach. Steve Leach is left there. No wonder Brett Hull hated to see him leave St. Louis.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned, Leach is one of the Bruins that had to get scoring goals. Well, he's got one tonight.
So the Bruins have taken a 4-2 advantage, and that's the way the first period will come to an end. The power play has reigned supreme here in the first period, and a game Boston has to win. They lead the Buffalo Sabres 4-2. That's it from the Odd in Buffalo for now. Let's go back to our studios for the Dodge Intermission Report. Jack Edwards, Bill Clement, and Al Morganti. Guys.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. And welcome to the Dodge Intermission Report. I'm Jack Edwards. And Mercy, we've seen a lot of scoring up in Buffalo so far tonight, with the Bruins leading the Sabres 4-2 at the first intermission. We've got action from around the NHL. The Caps and the Islanders going at it, and they're after one period. And also the Canadiens taking on Quebec. 4-2 at the Odd, and we'll be back with scores and highlights around the league in a minute.
The Dodge Intermission Report is presented by the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation.
Well, the Bruins lead the Buffalo Sabres 4-2 at the end of one. Over in the Patrick division, the Caps and the Islanders, and the Capitals won the first game of this series 3-1, and since then it's been the Islanders prevailing in a couple of overtime thrillers. It's a tight one again. Mike Ridley winning the faceoff. Peter Bondra sends it back. Al Iafrate unleashes a tremendous blast, which goes in cleanly, and the Caps lead it 1-0. Rick Tabaracci has had help from the posts a couple of times, but this time he just stones Ray Ferraro. Ferraro beats the stick, but not the foot, and former teammate Todd Krieger cleans the crease up. So it's 1-0. The Caps leading the Isles in the first intermission. If you're going to go to overtime, it's not a good idea to do it against the Islanders. They have the best playoff overtime winning percentage in NHL history. So the only goal of this game so far coming off the faceoff, Bill Clement, is a former faceoff man. You're aware of just how important these are in the playoffs.
huge in the playoffs. A lot of pressure for the guys out there. To me, it was always an advantage to know what the other guy was going to do. And Tom Fitzgerald of the New York Islanders took the faceoff that led to the Capitals' goal. And really, he knew what Mike really wanted to do. He wanted to get it over to the sideboard. So here are Fitzgerald's options. He can take the blade of his stick and chop down right here on Ridley's stick to try to stop him from winning it cleanly. His other option, and this is the option that Tom Fitzgerald chose, was to get the tip of his blade into this area, to race for the puck, and to win it cleanly. Watch what happens. So he goes for broke, basically, on this one. Puck is dropped. Ridley gets it over the boards. Now, he just wanted to get Peter Bonder in a battle with Vasky to get it up for grabs. They've got the big cannon back on the blue line, Al Iafrate, and that's the way it goes. To me, the attitude when you're in the defensive zone is stop the other guy from doing what he wants to do. That's your priority. If you try to win it cleanly, you're either going to win it cleanly or lose it cleanly, and that's what happened to Tom Fitzgerald.
Al Morganti, the Caps Isles series, you've been keeping pretty close tabs on this one.
Well, one of maybe the only advantage right now, Washington has the power play, and they used it again tonight. To kind of counter that, the Islanders have put Tom Kerbers in their lineup. They have no power play goals. The only team in the playoffs right now without a power play goal. Washington got their 5th tonight. So they're going to try to get an advantage there. Darius Kasparaitis took a bad penalty to lead to that power play goal. That's the one thing, the area the Islanders think they can upgrade to maybe avoid overtime for a change and win this thing in regulation.
Yeah, well, should they go to OT and should even the Montreal-Quebec game go to overtime, we will switch live to those games for the extra periods and we will stay with them for the duration. So it may be a long night ahead of us, gentlemen. Don't forget, coming up on ESPN, National Hockey Night comes your way on Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as red-hot Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings try to advance their 2-1 lead against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, the Bruins lead the Buffalo Sabres 4-2 at the end of one. And in Quebec, the war continues between the Nordiques and the Canadiens. They are playing Game 4 at the Forum. And early on, it's Valeri Kaminsky, denied by Patrick Roy, and he just covers it in the crease. Eric Desjardins goes across to Kevin Haller. Did he keep it in? Yeah, he did. Ron Hextall makes the save, but that's Vincent Damphousse hacking in the rebound, and the Habs go up 1-0. Just a few seconds ago, Scott Young almost going in the reverse direction of his game winner in Game 1 in overtime, turns and fires it back in, and this game is all tied 1-1 about midway through the first period. Quebec holds a 2-1 series lead. If this one ends up being a low-scoring battle, it'll be no surprise because Montreal and Quebec have combined for only 12 goals so far. Well, gentlemen, what do you make of this series? Al, the Quebec and Montreal series, it's got so much richness as far as the culture is concerned, but on the ice, there's some great battles going on as well.
It hasn't been the war of past years, the fights or anything. No fights yet in this series. Before this game, Wally Harris, supervisor officials, is watching for the pregame stuff. Ron Hextall kind of slid his foot over the center ice line just to make his point that he could go into Montreal territory. Quebec got some bad news this morning. Owen Nolan cannot play. He's got a bad knee, so he can't, a sore wrist, so he can't play, plus a Charlie horse. He's out of the lineup. The 1-1 score, I think that bodes well for Quebec. Montreal was starting to get rolling. In the last game, they moved their defensemen up. They said, let's go for it. Let's get a let's go for it attitude. And now Quebec's going to try to take that away.
1-1 in the first period of this one, Bill.
Well, you have to look at Ron Hextall as the guy that's really in the hot seat for the Quebec Nordiques. He had a pretty good season, tailed off towards the end, and now he's really put together a streak so far in the playoffs, really playing well. Still so much question as to whether or not the Quebec Nordiques, after the playoffs are over, are going to keep Ron Hextall or Stéphane Fiset. They've got 2 goaltenders there that are terrific. If the Nordiques are going to come of age, it's going to be in the next couple of games. They're playing against the Montreal Canadiens. They're young playoff-wise in the National Hockey League, and if the Quebec Nordiques are going to really make a mark for themselves that they can build on next year, it's going to be in the next couple of games for them.
Well, maybe the Nordiques are looking for a player on whom they can depend. The Boston Bruins depend on Cam Neely to get the job done, and Neely comes through with another goal tonight. The Dodge Intermission Report will continue as we're between the first and second periods of the Bruins-Sabres game. The Bruins trying to stave off elimination, and they are up 4-2. Welcome back to the Dodge Intermission Report. The Bruins leading the Buffalo Sabres 4-2 at the end of the first period. And there are those who would not be that surprised if the Bruins could come all the way back to win this series based on what they did in the regular season. Of course, it's never happened in the NBA or in Major League Baseball, a team coming from 0-3 down to win a series, but it's happened twice in the NHL, although not in the last 18 years it hasn't. Bill Clement, interesting situation here with the Bruins and the Sabres in that the Bruins seem to be giving up so many breakaway goals. One pass seems to be 2 or more players. And again, it happened tonight with the Bruins.
Well, they're revved up offensively, aren't they? But it was Yogi that said half of this game is 90% mental. So the Bruins are going to have to think this game, especially when McGillney's on the ice. On this play, Himmelev here is just coming up ice. He's on his backhand, so it's tough to make a pass in this direction, but he's still going to look for McGillney. The Bruins don't read this very well, and I'll show you why. All right, at this point, you've got Don Sweeney over here, David Shaw here. They've got to do a lane shift before this play even gets them. They've got to shift this way because there's nobody on this side of the ice. That means that Shaw's got to move there, and Don Sweeney's got to move there to take the middle away. But there is no middle taken away, so McGillney takes it and goes right down the middle. So you got to check what's all around you. And whatever you do against Alexander McGillney, make sure you take away the middle of the ice. Take that shoot away between defensemen. They didn't read that very well.
Yeah, if you're going to let him go somewhere, let him go down the board.
Force him wide at least.
All right, well, we've finally seen the Boston Bruins with a lead here, and how long they hold it remains to be seen. I want to remind you that ABC Sports coverage of the National Hockey League playoffs continues tomorrow afternoon. The Penguins against the Devils, Pittsburgh trying to close them out. Chicago and St. Louis, Calgary and LA also available on a regional basis.
ESPN's presentation of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by Visa, honored at over 6 million more places than American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by the new Subaru Impreza. Subaru, what to drive.
Well, the Boston Bruins have a job to do tonight in Buffalo. Their season is over, and so far they're doing it. 4-2 is the score as we enter the second period. Prior to tonight's game, oh, I'll get to that in a moment. There's been a goalie change. We just understand. Look in the Buffalo Sabre net. It is not Grant Fuhr. Dominic Hasek will open the net. Bit of a surprise starting the second period here with the Sabres up still 3-0 coming in. So it's Hasek replacing Grant Fuhr for now. Now, prior to tonight's game, I spoke to the Bruins' Ray Borg, who's the team captain, and asked him about the urgency of doing well and doing well early in this do-or-die game number 4.
We feel confident and good about going into this game. And that's all we're looking at is to win one game and bring it back to Boston, and just looking at the first 5 minutes to try to establish a good tempo and a good start for our game.
Well, the Bruins did that. They scored in the first 2:19. They have the shots on goal advantage 12-7. But Dominic Hasek in the net. Is this a bit of a panic move by John Buckler?
No, I don't think so. His team is up 3-0 in this series. Fuhr has been absolutely spectacular. The Bees blew 4 goals by him in the first period. Give him a rest. If the Sabres can come back, if this maybe wakes them up, because they have not really played a good first period as a team, this might give them a bit of a wake-up call. They could play a sound game. Hasek will probably have to play as the playoffs go on anyway, and you've always got games 5, 6, and 7 if necessary to get Fuhr back in.
And if necessary, game 5 in this series will be at the Boston Garden Monday night. A turnover in the Boston zone, and May is there for a quick turnaround shot. Andy Moog with a stick save. 4-2 Boston coming in. Tom Mees and Jim Schoenfeld live from the Aud in Buffalo. National Hockey Night on ESPN. Puck loose at center. Ray Borg back for it. Dumps a long one in on Hasek. Very little pressure in the Buffalo zone, but what pressure there is works for a moment. Now the puck loose at center. Bork will dump it back in. Out to the blue line, David Shaw with a long run on Hasek, who has to sprint out to the slot area and cover up the rebound.
Tom, the Bruins have been very good all year once they have a lead of cutting down the passing lanes in the opponent's zone. You'll see the Sabres setting up with a puck behind their net. The Bruins, unless they know they have a 50-50 chance to get that puck, will stop, will stay in the lane, give the Sabres one outlet pass, and then check on the angle, shutting down the cross pass, and they'll create a lot of scoring chances for themselves on a Sabre turnover. So we'll watch for that, and now that the Bruins have the lead, we'll watch for their transition game.
Ryan Sutter, the Bruins coach, very, very optimistic, although his team was facing elimination coming into this game 4 tonight. So we've worked hard. We've played steady. We just haven't gotten the breaks. We have a lot of face-offs in the Buffalo zone. We faced good goaltending. So if the breaks start to go our way, look out. Well, The Boston Bruins have a 2-goal lead heading into the second period of a game they must win. Now it's a 2-on-1 for Buffalo. Hannon shoots and hits the crossbar and up into the crowd. Dave Hannon had an option there, took the option to shoot, and looked like he hit the crossbar and up into the crowd.
Well, the Bruin defender, David Shaw, does a good job here staying in the middle. He's going to eliminate any opportunity for Hannon to pass, but he beats Moog short side. Actually, he didn't have much to shoot at, maybe about 3 square inches in that top corner, and it hits the crossbar and goes over the glass, and the sigh of relief for the Bruin netminder, Andy Moog, and his teammates.
Well, you look down at the Buffalo bench, you look all the way at the end, and you will not see Grant Fuhr there. Tom Draper has dressed. He was originally scratched for this game. He wears number 35, Draper. And he is at the very end of the bench, so Grant Fuhr is no longer in uniform, and we're efforting to find out why. Big ooh and ah from this large crowd here tonight when they saw Draper skate out a moment ago on the stoppage of play. With it is Teddy Donato for Boston. Quick shot by Donato, and Hasek is there to make the stick save. 4-2 Bruins. 2 minutes gone, and Randy Wood breaks into the slot and shoots in. Down goes the goaltender. The puck is kept out of the net, though. Good save by Moog.
Again, the Sabres, another scoring chance on a breakaway. The Bruin defensemen are standing side by side. When you're a defender, one defenseman, the defenseman on the side of the puck should be up. The other defenseman's got to be over on the hinge. Bill Clement did a real good job of illustrating that in the intermission. The Bruin defenders are standing side by side, just equidistance apart. The offside defender, that is the defenseman on the long side of the ice, has to be the guy back on the hinge. As the puck's coming up the boards, one defenseman's up, the other one is back protecting. The Bruin defenders are guilty of spectating. They're just watching the Sabres make passes and get that outlet pass right up the middle. And a breakaway again against Andy Moog results in a penalty.
Yes, a penalty to Gord Roberts. 2 minutes for hooking at 1:57. So the Bruins on the power play, rather the Sabres on the power play, have a chance to cut the Bruin lead here, trailing 4-2. Bruins win the faceoff. Sweeney leaves it for Ford, but Himmelad was back there pestering, and this is Mogilny, who couldn't quite get the puck into the slot area. And back come Boston. Remember Dave Poulin with it. He's very dangerous, short-handed. Poulin puts a shot on Hasek, who makes the blocker save, wrap around, and Poulin has scored!
Oh man, what a big goal for the Boston Bruins. And what a big hurt that puts on the Buffalo Sabres. You're talking effort here, folks. First effort to get the puck. Second effort, race up the ice. Third effort, beat the Sabres to the puck. Fourth effort, get it behind Hasek as he's a little slow going post to post. Howard Chuck right there has to eliminate Dave Poulin. He tries to stick check him. Poulin stays on top of the puck. Not a good goal, not a good start for Dominic Hasek.
And Dave Poulin has scored a lot of big short-handed goals in his career, both in Philadelphia and Boston. He is an expert penalty killer. One of the reasons why you got to play defense even with the extra man. Now LaFontaine breaks in and Moog with a save. Remember, the Sabres still had the power play. Still in the zone. Bodger lets one go. Deflected in front. And Duras to the backhand and gets it out to center. 5-2 Boston.
Big save by Andy Moog. You don't know how big. His team jumps into a 3-goal lead. If the Sabres score there, it's tightened up once again.
Offsides the call. There will be a face-off with 17:08 left to go in the second period. Let's take a look at the Budweiser scoreboard. Still in the second, it's still Washington 1 and the Islanders nothing. The Capitals looking to even up that series at 2. Quebec and Montreal tied at 1 with 56 seconds left in the first period at the Forum in Montreal.
A lot of good hockey around the National Hockey League this time of year. I just absolutely love it. You turn your set on, you got a game going, you listen to the comments in the radio, you read about it in the newspaper. A very exciting time for a guy like me who absolutely loves this game.
Gee, I never would have guessed that. How many years did you play in the NHL?
Too many, they keep telling me. The last 3 years they say, wait, it's been too long.
They told you that, did they?
Yeah, well, they didn't say it to my face. They were nice enough to tell somebody else.
Poulin's goal shorthanded at 2 minutes and 13 seconds to give the Bruins a 3-goal lead. The shot from the point, the rebound by Wood is knocked down by Wesley in front. Still 50 seconds left on the Buffalo power play. Holder. back at the point. Holder's wide open. Instead, the shot from in close is taken, and the Bruins clear the zone.
The play the Sabres use a lot is the cross passes through the crease. A right-handed shot with the puck to a left-hander waiting at the doorstep.
Audette with it now has Wood open, but can't get the puck to him. Bruins doing a good job bottling up the Sabres in the Boston zone. On this man advantage, 20 seconds left. Randy Wood skates in, gets between the defense. Wow, he got right between Wesley and Donato. Couldn't control the puck, however. 7 seconds left in the power play. Somebody's got to shoot. 2 seconds, 1 second, even up and score! Donald Audette with the goal. 5-3. I believe that'll be an even strength goal coming just as the penalty time clock rang down to 0.
Well, Audette wastes no time. He's going to one-time this. The Bruin penalty killers, I think, caught on a little tired. And right there, you'll see that David Shaw is late getting to Donald Audette. If you're going to be with your check, be with him. Don't be near him, especially in your own end of the rink, and tie up his hockey stick. That's what players score goals with. There's no sense being close where you can be on top of him, and David Shaw could have been there to eliminate Donald Audette's first goal of the playoffs before he even got the shot away.
What a big goal for the Buffalo Sabres. It's technically is an even strength goal, but realistically, Jim Schoenfeld, that's a power play goal because the Sabres were set up in the Boston zone.
Well, the guy that came out of the penalty box was not involved in the play. He didn't have time to get back, and you're right. For all intents and purposes, a playoff goal by the Sabres.
You can see fans coming in all the descriptions of dress tonight at the Aud. So a 5-3 hockey game, and it juices up the home crowd here in Buffalo, but the Bruins have just kept working. They battled adversity very well tonight. Still have much the better of the overall play. Presley at center ice for Buffalo. Presley into the Boston zone. Puck is still onside as Ledger touches. Gord Roberts bangs it behind the net for Leach. And Neely has it unmarked. Cam Neely will dump it in. Ledger dumps it back out. Osick tried to play it. Leach going for it, but Ledger gets there first. Puck loose at center, and Hannon controls for Buffalo. To Presley. Presley can't get around his man, Tim Sweeney. And Don Sweeney lays a check on May. A lot of Sweeneys on the ice here tonight. Tim and Don for Boston. And Bob, the former Bruin, for Buffalo. Tim Sweeney off the boards and out.
Maybe that's why they let Bob Sweeney get picked up. It was just too confusing for the coaching staff.
Not to mention the broadcasters. Mogilny loose at center. Couldn't control the initial pass. LaFontaine behind the Boston net has it hop over his stick. And a whistle for a face-off. Ray Bork ties it up on the side of the net. 14:21 left in the second period. 5-3 Boston. National Hockey Night continues from the Aud in Buffalo. It's Game 4, the Adams Division semifinals. Boston up against it, trailing 3 games to none, but leading this game 4-5-3. At LaFontaine controls for Buffalo. Back to Sutton. His shot deflected in front. On the Boston defense, Alexander Mogilny in front. It's loose in the crease. Somebody's got a fall on it. And Denny Morrell blows the whistle and whistles a face-off. Let's go to Jack Edwards.
All right, Tom Mee, some furious action going on with the Isles and the Caps. Sylvain Cote goes behind the goal line in deep. Wheels it across. Kelly Miller finds Mike Ridley in front and he scores. And just a short time later, Al Iafrate with the blast from up top. And Dennis Vasky knocks over his own goalie. It's 3-0. Tom?
You know, Jack, home ice meant absolutely nothing between those two in the regular season. The road team won every game. And here they're about, it looks like they're about ready to split 2-2. I don't know why they just don't go to Game 7 and get rid of the preliminaries.
Playing on neutral ice.
That's right. 2 more even-up teams you can't find in the National Hockey League. They're the Caps and the Islanders. Play back on here in the Aud. Boston now into the Buffalo zone. Knocked down for a moment is Steve Hines. He was looking for a penalty from Denny Morrell. He's not going to get it. It's loose at center for McGildy, but Sweeney gets there in time. Don Sweeney. Wow, that was close. And the Bruins dump it back to get a line change. Sabres break in with May. Fort knocks him up the puck nicely. Dmitry Kartalov around the boards, but not out. Howard shot. Kimball has it ahead to Juneau, but he can't catch up to it. Andy Moog played well in the Boston Nets tonight. After being pulled, remember, in Game 2 of this series, didn't play in Game 3. Loose puck in front, and Boston comes away with it. Hines and Juneau. Kartalov on left wing. Way behind the net with a shot. Kartalov intercepts a pass at center and hops it over Juneau's stick. Hasek leaves it for Donald Audette. He can't control. Kartalov all over the place. And back to the Boston zone for Gord Roberts. Ran into Gord Roberts in the hotel yesterday. I said, I didn't know you were this team. How many teams you been with, Gord? Well-traveled defenseman.
A very reliable one. He always plays a steady game. He gives you every ounce of effort he has every shift, and he's a good guy at the Bruins.
Donato controls and has it taken away by Himmelad.
Well, Yuri Himmelad, I'll tell you what, in this series, in my estimation, has been probably game in, game out, the Sabres' best hockey player, both offensively and defensively. He's done it all for them.
And it carries in. Fans wanted a penalty on Boston as they saw Doug Bodger get knocked down at center. None forthcoming, and offsides is Smolinski. 11:46 to go here in the second period. Dennis Burrell hearing it from the partisan Buffalo crowd. It's 5-3 Boston. National Hockey Night continues for the Odd in Buffalo. Boston 5, Buffalo 3. Tom Mees along with Jim Schonfeld. Bruins trailing 3 games to none. Grant Fuhr played the first period for Buffalo. Did not start the second. Dominic Hasek has been in there and played pretty decently. Fuhr, meanwhile, is out of uniform because Tom Draper has put the uniform on, and he is sitting as the reserve goaltender now on the Buffalo Sabre bench. We're efforting to find out what, if anything, is wrong with Grant Fuhr. And we understand that Fuhr has a bruised right shoulder. We don't know the extent, of course. You would have to theorize, though, Jim, that it had to happen towards the end of the second period. There is Tom Draper. You just saw him a moment ago. There's Dominic Hasek.
Well, if it happened by way of a shot, not necessarily towards the end of a period, because that might not stiffen up till he sits down. We'll have to wait and see if it was a twist, someone banging into him, or the shot from a puck. We'll probably get more details when the game is over.
Something to keep in the back of your mind should there be a Game 5 in Boston on Monday. Locked in the Buffalo zone. Bruins doing a good job. Ford checking, keeping possession. Leach just lifts it back for Hasek to handle. Gord Roberts carries literally at center.
John Muckler talked about Grant Fuhr being in great control of his body all the time. Watch Dominic Hasek with some power or with some pressure around there. He's flipping and flopping and dipping and diving all over the place. He can be a real fun goaltender to watch. I would say out of control.
Mr. Hasek, you're out of control. Is that what you would say if you were coaching him?
Oh, no, as long as he stops the puck, I wouldn't say a thing. I'd carry his luggage for him if he's stopping the puck.
Loose puck in front of the Boston net. Colin Patterson puts some pressure on, tries to wrap around, but Moog had the post covered well. Comes loose again, but on it is Leach for Boston. Sends Adam Oates to center. Oates, who is just a magician at the end of that first period, and Neely and Hasek saw it all the way and makes the glove save. At 10:28 to go in the second period, about the halfway point of regulation. The Bud scoreboard showing you those 2 goals, but the Capitals have Washington up 3-1 in the second, trying to even that series. And after 1 at the Forum in Montreal, Quebec and the Montreal Canadiens tied at 1. Airtight hockey there, unlike what we're seeing here tonight.
Well, this is kind of wide open. I think it favors the Sabres. Andy Moog, you know he was upset not dressing in Game 3, but now his team has scored 5 goals on the road against the Sabres. This is the point. There's half a game left, 10 minutes in the second period and the third period. He really should win this game for his team. They have a 2-goal lead. They scored 5. The Sabres have already spent up 3 goals. He has to perform now. This is his chance. He wanted it. They gave it to him. This is Moog's game to win or lose.
Gould won the faceoff, and this is Don Sweeney with some room in front. Attempting to hit the stick of Hines for the deflection, but Hines couldn't control it.
You can see how quickly McGillney took off. He's right there, and boom, they're trying to go again in the transition game. Don Sweeney makes a good play of intercepting that pass, or Alexander has a breakaway from the Boston blue line in.
LaFontaine is upended, but good. For the Boston Bruins, Don Sweeney, as he reached the blue line, heading to center. And it was strictly legal. LaFontaine skating a little bit with his head down there. Paid for it. Sweeney the shot for the point. McGillney covers up. Gets it loose to center. May sends LaFontaine away, but the pass is too far in front. And the Bruins clear the zone. Kenny Sutton back there for it. He's for Keith Carney. Carney is buried into the boards. Hops over McGillney's stick. Bort keeps it in. In front, and just failing to get control on the backhand was Tim Sweeney of Boston. May and Wesley go hunting for the puck in the corner, and the whistle is blown for the icing. The faceoff will come down to the Buffalo zone.
Well, Brian Sutter doing a pretty good job of recognizing you can't have only 3 players against the Sabres' big line. So he has Tim Sweeney and Ted Donato spelling off his checkers.
Don't forget, at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, it's an ESPN tradition. The NFL Draft. Chris Berman and a cast of thousands. The 1993 Draft. A lot of questions to be answered. Chris Berman will be there along with Joe Theismann, Mel Kiper, and former Bills general manager Bill Polian. ESPN's Tom Jackson will be at the Patriots headquarters. What will they do with the #1 pick? Also live reports from the headquarters of the Cowboys, Bucks, Bears, and Eagles. The NFL Draft. 6.5 hours at noon Eastern Time tomorrow. A lot of people here in Buffalo upset that Will Wolford, all-pro offensive lineman, the arbitrator let him go to Indianapolis. That was on the front page of all the newspapers today.
Yeah, not only well thought of as a player, but really well liked in the community.
Sabres pressing out of the Boston zone. 8:55 to go, second period. The Bruins lead it by 2, and they trail the series 3 games to none. Denny Morrell says play on, and they do. Sweeney clears the zone. Don, that is. And Wayne Bonney blows the whistle for a face-off with 8:40 to go in the second period. Look at Dale Howard-Chuck, who has 1 of the 3 Buffalo Sabre goals. It's 5-3 Boston. Back to the on in a moment. Back to the on in Buffalo. National Hockey Night. The Bruins leading in a game they must win. 5-3. 8:37 left to go here in the second period. Tom Mees along with Jim Schoenfeld. Glad you can be with us here from the on. ESPN's coverage of the playoffs continues Tuesday night from Detroit's Joe Louis Arena. The Red Wings and Maple Leafs. Loose puck at center, chopped at by the Buffalo Sabres' Grant Ledger over the glass into the crowd. And booze ringing down from the crowd as we take a look at our Visa storyline. Grant Fuhr in the locker room out of uniform with a bruised right shoulder for the Buffalo Sabres. Adam Oates has been brilliant with 3 assists tonight. 2 power plays as the Bruins finally get their power play unit going. And Alexander McGillney, as always, figures in the scoring. You see that 1 SHG shorthanded goal.
That's a big one for the Bruins, a real big one.
Puck loose at center. Bodger back for Buffalo. This is Bob Sweeney carrying in for the Sabres. Trying to get around Gordon Roberts. Does so. Puts a weak shot on Moog, who makes the easy save. Stefan Richer. Behind the Buffalo net for Hasek. In front. Tip in by Leach. Couldn't connect to the goal. Hasek was ready for it, but Leach couldn't deflect it towards the net. Back the other way we go. Bob Sweeney carries in front, intended for Hannon on the backhand pass. Just missing. And back we go the other way, and it'll be icing on Boston.
Adam Oates just made it back in time to give Hannon a little tug, so he couldn't direct that puck past Andy Moog. So Oates doing it at both ends of the ice, making great plays to set up his teammates to score goals, and there he makes a good defensive play on the Sabres' Dave Hannon.
So the faceoff will be back in the Boston Bruins zone to the left of Andy Moog as Adam Oates takes a seat. Never has a man who hasn't scored a goal in a series been as big as Adam Oates. 7 assists, 3 of them in the first period. LaFontaine and Poulin get ready to take the faceoff against each other. Andy Moog has a 2-goal lead to work with. Poulin is called to lead the faceoff circle.
In Game 3, the Sabres dominated the faceoffs, and they're very important when they're in your defensive zone. You have to scramble that draw. You do not want to lose it clean.
Loose puck finally covered up by Duras. Takes control. Peter Duras has a goal tonight. To correct myself, 9 assists for Adam Oates. No goals and 9 assists in the series. 3 of them tonight. Ray Bourque behind his own net. Here comes Poulin. LaFontaine is on him. Poulin leaves it for Hine. Hasek is there for the save. And Dominic Hasek steers it away to the defense. As the weak rebound came to him. Sutton sends it in for Buffalo. LaFontaine running in tentatively to Andy Moog. No aggression really. That bump behind the net. Bourque, though, sends LaFontaine down to the ice behind the play. Hasek is there to make a save with his blocker. Mogilny has the puck taken from him by Duras, and Hasek has to be quick to make the save on the wrist shot. Hasek has to go down and make a pad save again. Ted Donato was buzzing around the net, and a whistle for a face-off.
Well, that was a good bit of goaltending by Dominic Hasek. Donato has the puck. He's going around. He goes post to post, comes back, and stops him on the short side.
Let's go to Jack Edwards in the studio.
All right, Tom Mees, the Washington Caps looking to increase their lead on the Islanders in the second period. Todd Krieger thinks he has a goal, but no, Kelly Miller was in the crease, and the goal is waved off, and Krieger isn't too happy about it. 3-1 there, Caps lead.
Yeah, I'd say Todd Krieger has a reason to be unhappy.
Well, there's nothing like scoring a playoff goal. It's something you remember forever. If you've got time, I can tell you about both of mine.
Let's move right along. 6-9. We don't have time. There's only 6:19 left in the period.
I can tell you about my goals in vivid detail. That's the advantage of not getting many.
Wesley fires one in from the point. Hit one of the Bruins. Donato in front, and Hasek has to clear the way. Randy Wood fighting for possession for Buffalo. Puck comes loose. Donato almost got there. Nice job by Howard Chuck to keep it loose for Buffalo. Howard Chuck trying to send Randy Wood in. Wood is checked off nicely. Sabres keep it in, and a penalty going to be called on Boston's David Shaw. A little bit too aggressive against Randy Wood, so Shaw will be sitting down for the next 2 minutes, and the Buffalo Sabres will be going on the power play.
Well, Wood was trying to block Shaw from getting to that loose puck, and I think it's a matter here of Shaw just being a little stronger of the two, or having a little better leverage as he pushes Wood to the ice. But from Denny Morrell's point of view, it looked like an interference penalty. You see there, he's just shoving Wood out of the way to get to the loose puck. And Wood's a little bit off balance as Shaw gives him the push. And so the fall is exaggerated. And from where Denny Morrell was standing, as you see Ray Bourque over discussing that call with him, it looked like an interference penalty or a holding penalty or a roughing penalty, anything you wanted to call. But he called it holding, and Shaw is in the box.
And the crack staff of the Aw doing a little cleanup. Some debris thrown on the ice. And the faceoff will come to the Boston zone, and the power play unit is out there for Buffalo. Howard Chuck, Holder, and Bodger, the defensemen. Howard Chuck, Audette, and Wood will open up this power play for the Sabres. Howard Chuck will take the draw against Dave Poulin. Howard Chuck with a goal tonight. Sabres, rather the Bruins disputed it, but the video goal judge upheld it. That's the way it stands. Puck comes loose behind the Boston net for Ray Bourque. Andy Moog getting into it with one of the Sabres. Shot by Audette, and Moog has to cover up. Wow, Moog and Audette were getting into it physically, and then just seconds after that, Audette has the puck on his stick for a backhand shot. And Andy Moog had to be quick.
Well, you see Ray Bourque with the puck here. He's not going to get it cleared. There's Moog and Audette, and Moog gets distracted, allows Audette to get to the loose puck, and Andy's got to come up with a big pad save. I think good advice for Andy Moog. Andy, just focus on stopping the puck. Leave the pushing and shoving to someone else, because if you get distracted and they get one, it's a one-goal game, and I don't think the Bruins want a one-goal game here in Memorial Auditorium.
Did you see the push that Moog gave Audette with his glove hand after that was all done?
And had they not been short-handed, that may have resulted in a penalty, but Denny Morrell showing some restraint and probably talking to Andy Moog, saying, cool down a little bit, goalie. Just focus on what you have to do and leave the rough stuff out of your game.
12 seconds off the penalty time clock. So the Sabres again a face-off in the Boston zone with 1:48 to go on the advantage. Face-off to Bodger. His shot is knocked down by the defense. Knocked down by Peter Doris. Can the Bruins clear? Yes, no, finally yes.
Also interesting, John Muckler electing to go with his second unit. LaFontaine and McGillney are well rested. They could have come on the ice for the power play, but the second power play unit for the Sabres has stayed on.
Randy Wood will carry in. Howard Chuck to Wood. Deflection, and Moog is there all the way, hugging the post. He had that play diagnosed and makes a relatively routine save with 1:21 to go on the power play.
Momentum is swinging the Buffalo way. What they're starting to do very well is drive to the net. And when you drive to the net, good things happen offensively.
And the top power play unit for John Muckler now comes on.
Well, Randy Wood, you'll see him make the little pass off now right up the middle. Ray Bourque's got to go to him, and there's Wood for the tip. Doesn't get good lumber on it, but you redirect the puck from that close, and anything can happen. And now the big guns are on. LaFontaine, McGillney, and the right shooting Himolev.
LaFontaine and Poulin the face-off to the left of Moog. LaFontaine controls. Howard Chuck keeps it in. Shot is knocked down. Howard Chuck to McGillney. Sweeney knocks McGillney's pass aside. McGillney is buried by one of the Boston defensemen, Joey Juneau, trying to get to it, but Bodger's there first. Juneau almost had a shorthanded opportunity. Yuri Himolev set it up again. He tries to skate it in. Plays right into the hands of Ray Bourque.
Great play by Gordie Roberts. The Sabres are standing still at the blue line. He knows they can't go anywhere if they receive a pass. A good angle on Himolev takes him out of the play. Bourque for the loose puck down the ice.
Cross-ice pass to LaFontaine. LaFontaine taken out nicely by Roberts. Puck is covered up with a face-off in the Boston zone with 36 seconds left in the power play.
Well, a good bit of defensive play by Gordie Roberts, number 14 for the Bruins, as he sat on the puck there and froze it, halting the Sabre power play. And this is the play at the blue line. You see Himolev coming off screen. The Sabres are stopped at the blue line. Roberts recognizes that, gets the stick in on a good angle, drives Himolev to the boards. Bourque in good position, loose puck down the ice. That is defensemen working together on the hinge, reading off one another. That's what the Bruins have not been doing many times during this series, and it's cost them greatly on breakaway goals.
Well, the team mascot, Sabretooth, as you saw, is in attendance tonight at the Aud. LaFontaine and Poulin again. LaFontaine controls. McGillney back to Howard Chuck. 30 seconds left in the Bruin penalty. McGillney's centering pass is hit the skate of Gord Roberts, so LaFontaine can never get a stick on it. Howard Chuck with a shot. Rebound is sticked aside. McGillney had a shot at it, but somebody got a stick out there to deflect it wide. Bodger in the slot. Pass, and Moog gets his body on it. That was a shot by LaFontaine, and the Bruins clear the zone.
Gordie Roberts again stopping that cross-ice pass with his right skate. A good read by Roberts, but the Sabres keep the pressure on.
And the penalty is expired. The teams are at even strength with 3:42 left to go in the second period. It remains the Boston Bruins 5 and the Buffalo Sabres 3. National Hockey Night returns to Buffalo in a moment. Well, tonight's Saturday night, which means we're 24 hours away from Sunday night baseball. Roger Clemens and the Boston Red Sox in first place in the American League East, taking on the surprising California Angels, led by rookie J.T. Snow, tied for the American League lead in home runs. Our exclusive national coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific time for the Big A in Anaheim. The Red Sox and Angels, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Andy Moog, you know, the goalies used to do this all the time to get a rest, the famous equipment repair. But this time, it's legitimate.
It's legitimate. A strap broke, and the Sabres were buzzing around in their power play. Moog had to come up with a couple of good saves. The last one was a rocket off the shoulder, and I'm sure that stung him a little bit. So this rest is well-deserved for Andy Moog and the Bruin penalty killers. Speaking of the penalty killers, you talk about a tough job. You're Dave Poulin, you know you're going to be playing against Pat LaFontaine, 5-on-5. Plus, you know you're the guy they call on to win the defensive zone faceoffs when you're killing penalties. A lot of ice time, and he's played extremely well for the Bees.
Face-off in the Buffalo zone. Adam Oates controls it. Ray Borg back to the blue line. It's a soft shot in that ends up going about a foot wide to the right of Hasek. For Boston. Hasek back to play it behind his own net. Moore dumps it back in. Neely has it. Neely is dumped. And a whistle. Penalty's going to be the call on Buffalo. Oh, the Sabres can't believe it. Tripping's going to be the call against Cam Neely. He was the one who was tripped. Grant Ledgert is going to be the one that goes to the penalty box.
Well, Ledgert goes to Neely very aggressively, and Neely makes a little bit of a sidestep, so now Grant's out of position. You'll see him drag his leg here. There's the right leg coming in. Boy, that can be dangerous. I'll tell you what, I've seen hits like that, snap knees, and have guys out for 6 months. Neely fell, he got right back up, so he's okay. Ledgert wanted to make the good hit, but as Neely spun away, he didn't have great body position. A bit of an iffy call, perhaps, but I think a good call, only because I hate to see dangerous hits like that, because I know how devastating it can be on a hockey player's knee.
And with Cam Neely's problems overcoming knee injuries the last couple of years,
oh, baby,
doubly so. So the Bruins on the power play will try and take advantage of it. Shot in high on Hasek, goes off his blocker, over the glass into the crowd.
No, it didn't go.
Oh, wait, no, it didn't.
No, Denny Morrell lost sight of it.
But he looked towards the crowd.
And Hasek made the save, and he's like looking around, where is it? Everybody else starts looking, and they think, well, it must be out of the goalie doesn't know where it is. It fell right into the corner, and Sweeney was there, but the whistle had already gone.
And the Bruins are upset because the referee stopped play.
Exactly. He's arguing right now with Danny McCord. I'm sorry, it was Joey Juno, not Tim Sweeney. Joey Juno.
All right, Bruins control again. Juno with it. Down low to Adam Oates in front, just over the stick of Wesley, who had a great chance, had about half the net to shoot at, but it hopped over his stick. Again, we're late in the period. The ice a bit choppy. Ford can't control, has to go back for it. A minute and a half left in the Boston power play. Grant Ledgert in the box for Buffalo for tripping Cam Neely. Juno with it. Bork will wind up. The shot. Hasek the save. Oates. The rebound. Hasek gets his stick down. And Hasek with a save of the night.
Well, Dougie Bodger, he made sure the Bruins weren't going to score. He crashed into the net, and I think the Bruins are saying he knocked it off intentionally.
If it's ruled he did, it would be a penalty.
Well, it isn't. Denny Morrell has not signaled a penalty at all. But as the Bees were whacking away at that rebound, you see Ledger come in. And now it comes in. Hasek's going to make about 2 big saves here. You see the Bees pressure. They're going to set up in front. There's one save, and here's Oates with the rebound or the pass across. There's another save. Now watch Bodger coming in behind Hasek. And yeah, I'm going to make sure that the whistle goes here. Well, the Sabres got away with one, and Denny Morrell rules that the net is knocked off unintentionally. And there's a face-off with 1 minute 10 seconds left in the Boston power play.
Bob Sweeney and Joey Juno will face it off to the right of Hasek, who's played well in relief of Grant Fuhr, who's out with a shoulder injury. Left after the end of the first period. Juno behind the Buffalo net. Still a minute to go in the Boston power play. Wesley with it. Adam Oates is tied up. Loose puck. Hasek steers it aside. And Buffalo clears the zone. Under 2 minutes to go now, second period. 45 seconds left in the Bruin power play. Weird bounce off the board. Juno has it in the corner. Ray Bork with lots of room in the slot, but a diving attempt there by Bob Sweeney to block it. And Wayne Presley controls to the Boston zone. Hannon almost had a break in, and here comes Leach the other way for Boston. Leach down the slot, shoots, and he misses an open net. Wow. He had a little room to shoot, did Leach? He had Hasek beat. He tried to go upstairs, but went a little too far, and it went over the crossbar. Bartoloff to Oates. Gord Roberts' shot is right into the midsection of Mogilny, who tried to break back the other way. Roberts ends up with it. Penalty is over. Team's at full strength, and here comes Mogilny. Roberts just rides him off the play. Very nicely done by the veteran Gord Roberts. Last minute of play of the second period. Dmitry Kartalov carries in offside. 49.8 seconds left.
Gordy Roberts having himself a whale of a second period. He has been the most outstanding Brewer defender by far. It isn't easy to get a stick on Alexander Mogilny and contain him, take him to the boards, and give him a little bump. Roberts did that very well in that last rush. And Sutter today was quite confident when we were talking to him. He just said, pick away one game at a time. And the Bruins have responded to that. He felt his team had played pretty well. He thought Grant Fuhr was the difference in the series to this point in time. But he has great confidence in his goaltending. And the Bruins are a team that are quite capable of winning 4 games straight. Certainly the Sabres hope that doesn't happen. But it looks good for the Bees in tonight's contest at this point, Tom.
Remember last year, Buffalo led the series 3 games to 1.
That certainly has not been lost in the Sabres' memory, and they don't want to put themselves in a position where the Bees have any ammunition to come back in this series.
I should say Boston led the series 3-1.
Yeah,
Buffalo forced the 7th game and lost to the Boston Bruins. Buffalo wants no part of a 7th game this year. Hasek has to come out of his net to play that with 21 seconds left in the period. Puck is shot into the Buffalo Sabre bench. Sutton had to duck there to avoid it, and face-off with 16.9 seconds left. Take a look at what's coming up in our second intermission. Jack Edwards, Bill Clement, Al Morganti will be on hand. We'll have highlights of the Washington Islander game as well as the Quebec-Montreal tussle at the Forum. And much more in our second intermission. Stay with us. Don Muckler plotting strategy undoubtedly for the third period. John knew what he was up against tonight. This was no gimme against the Boston Bruins.
No, it's a cliched statement, but I think it's very true. The most difficult game to win is the game that's going to eliminate your opponent. And you have to work for the entire 60 minutes if you're going to do it.
Dave Pullen crashing into the Buffalo zone against defenseman Keith Hardy, bumping him off, and a whistle blows with 6.9 seconds left. Good work by Pullen getting a faceoff now in the Buffalo zone.
Good hustle by Pullen. They'll take faceoffs in the Sabres zone all night long. That's a good spot to be. Even if you lose the draw, the Sabres have to make a couple of good plays before they get a chance at ending it with only 7 seconds remaining. Keith Carney of the Sabres, he knows how important Pullen is to the Bruins. He knows what a job he does in LaFontaine. So anytime you have a chance to give a guy a little extra shot, you take that chance. For Carney in the corner. We'll see it coming here. Here comes Pullen. Now watch Carney at the end. The whistle's going to go. Give him a shot. Give him another shot. Make it tough. Work the neck. Tire him out. Just a little bit extra for David, but Pullen will be right back in there again. You can count on him.
The old hammerlock. You used to perfect that move, didn't you?
Oh, I wasn't quick enough to catch a guy like Dave Pullen. I could have caught you, though.
Yep. That's not saying much, believe me. Sabres control the face-off as Bodger, and that'll do it for the second period. There goes the horn. 1 goal each for the Boston Bruins and the Buffalo Sabres in the second period. It remains a 2-goal margin for the Bruins. They face elimination, but they're in good shape heading into the third period of regulation time. That's it for now here from the Aud. Let's go back to our studio. Jack Edwards, take it away, please.
All right, Tom Mees, and we'll see you coming up to the third period. The Bruins up 2 after 1 and up 2 after 2. A lot of other exciting action going on in the National Hockey League. Quebec and Montreal have really opened it up, and the Caps are getting pretty physical with the Isles. We've got highlights and scores of those games coming your way as National Hockey Night continues. It's 5-3 at the Aud between the Bruins and the Sabres. Stay with us. Welcome back to National Hockey Night, everybody. I'm Jack Edwards, and between the second and third periods, the Boston Bruins have a 5-3 lead on the Buffalo Sabres. The Bruins down 3-0 and fighting for their playoff lives tonight. Over in the Patrick Division, the Washington Capitals were able to win 3-1 in their first game against the Islanders, and then the Isles won a couple of OT contests. Would the Capitals change anything for Game 4? Al Iafrate comes out, ready for action. And in the first period, Peter Bondra gets it back to him at the point, a drive, scores, and it's 1-0. Still in the first period, Ray Ferraro crashing the goal. Rick Tabaracci makes the save as Todd Krieger cleans him out. Kevin Hatcher and Derek King, a little extra stuff there. Second period, still 1-0. Mike Ridley pops it home, and the Caps are up 2-0. Al Iafrate with another blast, and that makes it 3-0. Al Arbor a little bit concerned, and he ought to be. Vladimir Malakoff gets one back for the Isles. Todd Krieger putting in a bid, but Kelly Miller, they say, was in the crease, and that goal is disallowed. He's kind of angry about that. But if he was angry about this, he might have been even a little more angry when this event occurs. Glenn Healy just stones him with the glove. Second intermission on the island, and it is a 3-1 lead for the Capitals. Joining me once again, Bill Clement, Al Morganti, and the Capitals have capitalized on the man advantage in this series. 6 power play goals through almost 4 games, not even.
Well, Jack, they've also gotten their defensemen involved. When you've got a group of defensemen that score almost 100 goals during the regular season, you're going to need them to produce in the playoffs. Al Iafrate has 2 in this game so far, but there was a guy named Sylvain Cote that made a bad read in overtime the other night for the Washington Caps. It cost the Washington Capitals the game, but in this game, this time of year, you got to put those bad decisions in the back of your mind and make good ones. Here he goes, forechecking on the power play. He can do that because they got the extra attacker. What does he want to do here? He wants to bang Malakoff off the puck. Cut to the wide shot. Here's this play happening in the corner, and he executes it perfectly. Once he gets Malakoff off the puck, he just wants to get it behind Glenn Healy because he knows he's got a guy over there, and this is set play. He works it perfectly. Islanders got a problem here. You see 2 Islanders and 2 Caps. Mike Ridley is the guy that's closest to the front of the net. He makes a beeline for the front. Kelly Miller to Ridley. Well, that's a combination that goes back a few years with Washington. So it's those types of good reads that Sylvain Cote has been making tonight, plus Iafrate's goals that has the Caps on top.
So the Washington Capitals are taking aim at the net, not only with their shots, but also, Al, with their bodies, it would seem.
Oh, obviously a game plan. They have going right at the net on, like, during the regular season, there was an effort, that little blue area, the semicircle in front of the net. Well, everybody goes colorblind in the playoffs. The referees, the players, everybody's in there. However, tonight, the Caps have paid off a couple of times. The goal that was called off came after Glenn Healy complained vehemently earlier to Terry Gregson. So now they're watching because now the Islanders are going at Tabaracci. It's become a little one-upsmanship, so we'll have to stay away from that crease a little bit. But crashing the crease certainly paid off early for the Caps tonight.
All right, well, the Caps with a 2-goal lead after 2 periods. It's a pretty exciting game up in Montreal as the Canadiens have decided they're going to skate with the Nordiques and trade there. We've got highlights in that score coming up for you in just a moment. And don't forget that National Hockey Night returns on Tuesday with the Maple Leafs at the Red Wings. And that'll be Game 5 of that series, currently led by Detroit, 2-1. We're back in a flash. Quebec and Montreal in a much-anticipated series. Quebec leading it 2-1 going into tonight's 4th game at the Forum. And without further delay, let's see some of the action up in Montreal. Stephen Finn elbowing Gilbert Dion. Montreal on the power play. Kevin Haller, the wrist shot, saved by Ron Hextall, but that's Vincent Damphousse hacking it home, and the Habs are up 1-0. Pierre Paget calls an early timeout and says, let's gather ourselves and get it back together. Scott Young turns around and fires it home. Surprising shot, and he got a lot on it from that angle. The Nordiques keeping high scoring. Kirk Muller in check. Adam Foote with the check. Ron Hextall coming up big. John LeClair drives. Look how far out Hextall was. Jacques Demers says, more of that, please, from the Canadiens. They threaten Brian Fellows on the doorstep. Hits the post in the final seconds of the period. Patrick Waugh coming up big for the Habs. Valery Kamensky in alone. Deeks, but then he fans on the shot. Curtis Lecision behind his own net. Jesse Belanger on the hit. Gary Lehman picks up the loose puck and hacks it past Hextall, even though he was far out of his goal. And it is 2-1 with 5 minutes to go in the second period. And Al Morganti, this is your proverbial end-to-end action in Montreal.
And this should not be happening. Montreal match up with Quebec. You put all the names in a hat and you pull them out for a fantasy league or whatever, and you take all the Quebec forwards first or before most of the Canadians. So you wouldn't think they'd want to get into a run and gun with Quebec. Well, they are. Not only that, they're winning it. The Montreal forwards are moving up. Even when they're taking the lead, they're not slowing down at all. They're going to keep going at Quebec. I would think with the lead, they would have sat back and said, okay, we're a better defensive team than they are. It's not happening, Bill. They're just going to match them speed for speed.
I don't say sit back, especially with a 2-1 lead, but you've got to play to your strength and away from the other team's strength. Montreal is an improved offensive team this year, but they're not as good as Quebec. Montreal's strength is defense. They finished 7th in defense. Quebec was 15th. After Detroit and Pittsburgh, you know the number 3 offensive team is in the National Hockey League? It's Quebec. So by going toe-to-toe with Quebec and end-to-end, they're playing to Quebec's strength and away from their strength. I don't think they can win like that.
Well, the way it looks right now, if we're going to see overtime tonight, it's going to be at the Forum, as that's the tightest game we got so far. The Bruins lead the Buffalo Sabres 5-3 after 2 periods, and if the Bruins don't do some winning tonight, they're going to be out of here. But right now, they got a little insurance. National Hockey Night continues on ESPN in a minute. The Bruins lead the Sabres 5-3 at the end of 2, but we're going to take you up to Montreal for some bonus coverage. The Canadiens lead the Nordiques 2-1 in the second period. Chris Cuthbert and Dick Irvin have the play-by-play as the Habs go on the power play.
27-12 overall. Canadiens have 3 of their 7 goals in this series on the power play. Looking for another here. Minute to go in the penalty to Rasinski. 3:50 left, second period. And the 47's ready to face it off Lapointe and LeBeau. Lapointe won the draw. Hextall wraps it around the boards, and it's cleared out to center ice. Desjardins got the pass to Brisebois, ahead to Dion at the line. Couldn't find LeBeau with the pass, and the Nordiques send the Canadiens back. Desjardins and LeBeau get their signals crossed. Desjardins almost lost an edge there. And the pass intercepted, so all of a sudden the Canadiens' power play is coming apart here. Lehman can't get loose against Kamensky, and remember, 22 shorthanded goals for the Nordiques during the regular season. They had a breakaway by Kamensky earlier in this period. So you can't have any lapses even with the man advantage against Quebec. Rasinski now back on the ice. Penalty has expired. Daniel at the point. Shot right on. Rebound. Flipped just wide. That one was past Hextall. Side of the net. They jam again. And finally Duchesne sends it the length of the ice. Brisebois will touch it, and icing called against.
All right, so Montreal leads Quebec 2-1, but the Habs are not able to add to their lead. 2.5 to go in the second period there. And we'll continue from Buffalo in a minute. Here's a look at tomorrow's coverage on ABC.
Art.
ESPN's presentation of the Stanley Cup Playoffs is brought to you by Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be. And by AT&T, the right choice.
The Buffalo Sabres do not want to get on a plane and go back to the Boston Garden, but unless they can beat this man, Andy Moog, at least twice and force overtime or win it in regulation, that's where they'll be, the Boston Garden on Monday night. A 2-goal lead for the Bruins, 5-3. Dominic Hasek, who came in relief of Grant Fuhr, who left with a shoulder injury after the first period, made 13 saves. In that second period, and Jim, I thought he played very well.
Yeah, outside of the wraparound goal by Pullen, where I thought he was a little lackadaisical getting from post to post, he had a strong period. And if he can keep the score at 5, the Sabres have an explosive team. It isn't beyond the realm of possibility that they could score 3 goals in a period. So the Bruins are a long way from out of the woods.
Tom Mees and Jim Schonfeld, National Hockey Night from the Aud in Buffalo. The Bruins trying to do the John Travolta thing. Stay alive tonight in Buffalo. Himalev intercepts a pass at center. Yuri Himalev faked the shot. Tries to get around Shaw, can't do it. And Wesley sends Himalev to the ice. And into Himalev behind the net. Himalev out to Schmelik. The shot is knocked down in front of the Bruin defense. Boston does a great job at blocking shots, not allowing them to get into the goaltender Andy Moog, who's faced only officially knocked on goal tonight.
And David Shaw was the Bruin that made that block. The man has just dumped the puck in, and he's going to go for a change. You get 5 fresh Bruins skaters on the ice.
Here's Randy Wood at center ice. Can he control it in time? No. And McCourt says offside. He proceeded the puck into the zone.
Tom, Randy Wood is skating extremely well tonight for the Sabres. He's had a couple of good chances just because he has great speed.
Now it's time for our Miller Genuine Draft scoring summary. Cam Neely, power play at 2:19. Got Boston on the board early. Alexander Mogilny answered back at 10:09 of the first to tie it at 1. Joey Juneau, his second goal on a power play, second goal of the playoffs, made it 2-1. Then Peter Duras made it 3-1 on his first goal of the playoffs. Dale Howard-Chuck on a disputed goal, but it was ruled good with a video goal judge, made it 3-2. But then it was Steve Leach, 4-2 in the last 12 seconds of the first period. In the second period, Dave Poulin made it 5-2 shorthanded, but Donald Audette at 3:58 of the second period got Buffalo within hailing distance at 5-3, and that's where we stand now.
Well, referee Dennis Morrell shooing the Bruins off the ice. Brian Sutter trying to make a late change. Of course, the home team gets to make the last change. Muckler trying to keep LaFontaine away from the Poulin line, and Ray Bourque and Don Sweeney on defense. And, of course, Sutter tried to counter that.
And here goes Morrell.
Yeah, now the Bruins are saying, well, who was on there, Dennis? Can you remember? Because we're not sure. And they're just trying to make him look bad here. So Smolinski, it looks like, is the guy going over the boards. And you know if the Bruins win this draw, they'll get it deep, and they'll be making a 5-man change because definitely Sutter wants out Bourque, Sweeney, and the Poulin line against the Sabre Gunners, LaFontaine, Mogilny, and big bruising Brad May.
Ted Donato, as it is, will take the face-off with Pat LaFontaine. LaFontaine controls, but backhands it back to Steve Hines. Hines shoots it in where Hasek leaves it for his big defenseman, Richard Schmelik. Now it's Keith Party carrying into the Boston zone and dumping in the corner. On Sweeney, pretty hard check there from LaFontaine. LaFontaine trying to hit Mogilny, just disconnection. May dumps it back in for Buffalo. Bourque in the corner, and May lays into him. Hines with it dangerously in front of his own net, but now it's Peter Duras up the right wing. Duras with 1 goal tonight is well wide on that slap shot, and Mogilny has it at center for Buffalo. Alexander Mogilny, it's onside. Mogilny in front. Crashing into the net was LaFontaine, just missing. Mogilny. His back pass hit the skate of the referee Morrell. Ken Sutton keeps it in for Buffalo. Ray Bourque is back there for Boston. And the Bruins clear.
Well, the first half of this period, I think you'll see a lot of Mogilny and LaFontaine. If the Bruins happen to get a 6th goal, or it looks to John Muckler that the Sabres don't have a chance of winning this game, they'll probably rest them. But I would think a lot of activity for the first 10 minutes.
Let's go to the studio with Jack Edwards.
All right, Tom Mees, Steve Finn, the drive from the point for Quebec. Mike Huff runs around the pile of players in front. His shot saved, but there's Joe Sakic on the reeve. Second period ended just a minute ago, 2-2.
Boy, what a surprise that score's tied.
Bill Clement made the observation. I think it's a good one. You have a 2-1 lead, you're at home, but you're playing Quebec. It's almost better to sit on a lead and protect it rather than get in a shooting match with the Quebec Nordiques.
Absolutely right.
Quebec can put the puck in the net. Buffalo's got to do it twice more than Boston does in this third period just to force overtime. The task is a formidable one for the Sabres, who are trying to close out the series tonight. Rough and tumble action in the corner, and a whistle for icing. Nice hustle there by young Bill Holder of the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, Smolinski, I think, had a half a step on him if he would have just kept skating, but I don't know that Smolinski was sure it was going to be icing. So as they went, he tried to get body position so he wouldn't get crunched. And Holder's just going to plain out beat him to the puck right there, and he's going to get hit anyway. That's a lot of speed, folks. He hit the boards. That's jarring. Great athletes on the ice. Great athletes in this game.
Had a pretty good one in the booth here.
Where?
You are a folk hero in Buffalo.
Oh.
All the autographs you signed here today in this rink?
That's all family members.
Face-off. Howard Chuck takes it for the Sabres, controls it. In the slot. Nice job there by the Boston Bruins. Stefan Richer. The shot is taken by Audette and the save by Andy Moog. Stefan Richer did a nice job tying up a Buffalo shooter in the slot.
Yeah, I believe it was Howard Chuck. He made a very quick recovery, tied him up, couldn't get the shot away, and then the point shot comes. Andy Moog gets a right pad down to make a great save on a deflection. You'll see the puck coming right here into the slot. Right there, I'm sorry, that's the shot and the deflection. There's Moog down. Good positioning in goal for Andy Moog. Donald Audette using his head. He didn't hurry the shot. He waited until the screen was set up. He let it go low so it could be tipped in. And I can't keep talking. These fans are drowning me out here.
Well, the Sabre faithful rising to their feet. By far the most noise we've heard in this building tonight. And that included when the Sabres came out for a warm-up, Jim. I thought it would be like this all night. I think the crowd maybe can't believe what their team is about to accomplish.
Well, the Bruins took the crowd out of the game, but now the crowd sees some Sabre flurries. They know how close they are to tasting victory in this series, and they're trying to send all their energy down to the Buffalo bench and onto the ice with their Sabres.
Bruins control the face-off. Wesley gets it ahead to Leach, who gets it to center ice. And just like that, the noise is dispersed. 17:10 left to go in regulation time. And the crowd starting to get on Andy Moog with rhythmic chants of Andy. Wesley is bodied into the boards by Hannon. And Wesley pays it back with a glove to the face. It's been physical all night. It's getting more rugged by the moment here in the third period. Himmelab in front. Moog the save, and the net comes off.
Is going to the penalty box for taking the net off.
And Leach better watch it or he'll get an added penalty from Denny Morrell. The Sabres on the power play in a moment.
Well, the Bruins, Stephen Leach sitting in the penalty box for a delay of game penalty. You'll see as he comes in here and pushes the net off its moorings. Very much like the play Sabres Doug Bodger made and got away with. So understandably, the Bruin bench is very upset at referee Dennis Morrell.
Be that as it may, Buffalo goes on the power play. The top unit out there. Mogilny. LaFontaine, Sweeney behind the net, but Boston takes it away, and now Poulin has it. Remember, the Bruins have scored a shorthanded goal tonight. Poulin has that. At the time, it made it 5-2 Boston. But back into the Bruins zone, LaFontaine. Mogilny whips it around for Howard Chuck. Doug Bodger. The shot is blocked off by Bohr.
What a great pass Howard Chuck made. Backhand pass right across the blue line to Bodger. He is so adept with his hockey stick. He can make things happen at any time. That's what makes Howard Chuck so dangerous.
Now, Dan McCourt whistled the Sabres for a two-line pass, and Dale Howard Chuck is beside himself. You don't think the linesmen take heat during the playoff game? Forget it.
And I'll tell you what, they do an awful lot of skating, and I think a tremendous job. It's very difficult. It's easy for us sitting up here to second guess a Dennis Morrell or a call a linesman make. But when you have to make it in that split second, it's a difficult job, and those guys deserve an awful lot of credit and respect for the job they do. And remember, they never have a home game. They're on the road all season long.
Minute 21 left to go in the Buffalo Sabre power play, but because of the two-line pass, Howard Chuck and the Sabres will take the draw in their own zone. Donato against LaFontaine here. LaFontaine wins it back to Howard Chuck. Bodger off the boards. Audette had it for a second. LaFontaine and Mogilny. Audette tries to get to him. LaFontaine beats him to it. Pays the price as Shaw buries him. And a whistle for a high stick. Dennis Morrell has blown the whistle on somebody.
Just high stick
hitting the puck with a high stick.
Puck was above the shoulders, and the Bruins touched it. And of course, Freddie fetches his own face-off, killing a penalty. Out comes the Bruins, number 19, Dave Poulin. Boy, he logs a lot of ice time.
So does number 16.
Yeah, he just took the words out of my mouth. Important face-off here for the Bruins. This is Andy Moog's opportunity. He's come up with a couple of big saves. His team has a 2-goal lead. for killing a penalty. His chance to shine and win a game for the Boston Bruins.
LaFontaine wins another faceoff. Bodger, the save made by Moog as he saw the shot all the way. Save with the right blocker. And the puck caroms all the way down to the Buffalo zone. 50 seconds left in the Buffalo power play. Puck still loose at center as the Sabres try and regroup. Pass intercepted by Poulin. Nice job by Dave Poulin.
Two good reads in a row. Bork made a good read of the blue line, intercepting a pass, and then Poulin in the neutral zone, taking about 15 seconds off the Sabre power play.
Ray Bork and Don Sweeney disrupting the power play at the blue line. LaFontaine is on the ice. Meanwhile, Audette goes into the net. He's taken down. The net is knocked off the moorings. Whistle for a faceoff, and LaFontaine is in pain as he skates back to the Buffalo bench.
LaFontaine was leveled at the blue line, and he's sitting down, and he seems to be in severe pain. And you'll see him lying in the ice. That's after the hit. And this is Audette driving to the net. A good play by Don Sweeney, getting the puck before he got the legs of Audette. And that's why a penalty wasn't called. And there's LaFontaine right there getting hit from behind by Sweeney. And that's a whiplash effect. Shot in the back can get your ribs, certainly snaps your neck as Audette scores, but the puck stays out.
LaFontaine made it over under his own power, but he is one hurting dude on the bench. He hasn't had the best of nights from a plus-minus standpoint, but forget that. They want him out on the ice. If you need to score goals, he and Mogilny are the two guys you want out there, and you're down by 2 in the third period.
Well, he started this game banged up, too. His knees were sore, and he hasn't hidden that fact. To what degree they're sore, I think he's hidden that. He's a very gutsy competitor, has great courage, will go any traffic area he has to go to get the job done. And whether he's in pain or not, folks, expect Pat LaFontaine to be back on the ice very soon.
He does for his size, Jim. Over the years, I've commented several times on the air. He takes a licking, really. He takes so many hard hits, you wonder how he can continue to get up.
Well, there are big men in the game, and there are small men in the game, and there are small men that play like big men. He plays like an absolute giant.
Bad bounce off the boards. Crossed Andy Moog up. Fortunately for he, no Sabres in the area. Still 10 seconds left on the Buffalo power play, but Boston clears, and this will use it up. So the Bruins dodge a short-handed bullet. They remain 2 goals in front with 14:40 left, third period. Teams are full strength. Adam Oates with it. Oates with 3 assists tonight, 9 in the series. Boy, Roberts just dumps it in.
You see the Bruins not hot in pursuit, waiting. Neely goes in on the angle. They aren't going crashing in. They don't want to get 2 or 3 guys caught. They're going to make the Sabres beat them all the way down the ice.
Oates intercepts the pass, leaves it for the shot. Taken by Steve Leach, and Hasek with the save. A reminder, Top Rank Boxing comes your way tonight at midnight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, or rather 9 o'clock Pacific Time, midnight Eastern Time. Budweiser presenting Top Rank Boxing. Don't miss the 10-round junior welterweight bout between 2-time world champ Roger Mayweather, 43-8 with 28 KOs, against Zach Padilla, 15-1-1 with 10 KOs. It's Top Rank Boxing, midnight Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific Time tonight. Ryan Sutter behind the Boston Bruin bench. Very confident this morning when we visited with him about his team, at least how his team would play. Couldn't guarantee a win, but he knew they were going to play well tonight, Jim.
Well, you know, you got the sense talking to him that he really likes his team. Sometime when coaches get down in a series or during the season, if their team isn't playing well, they really don't like them. They think they've been abandoned. But Sutter has a real affection for his team, and I think it came out in our conversation this morning.
This is Hannon of Buffalo at center ice. Colin Patterson couldn't control the pass and comes back out for an offside call. 13:39.
John Muckler realizes there's still lots of time left, and he's still using his checking line against the Oates line. Doesn't want to give the Bruins that 6th goal. And it is early. The Sabres, as we mentioned, are quite capable of scoring goals in bundles. And that'll come with some offensive punch. Howard, Chuck, Wood, and Audette.
Well, if you're a Bruin fan across the country and you're wondering, can they do it? Can they do it? Has it ever been done? Coming back from 3-0 down in the series? Well, ask the Detroit Red Wing fans in 42. And ask the Pittsburgh Penguin fans in 75. The Maple Leafs and Islanders both turned that trick against those teams. So, yes, it is possible. Very difficult, but possible. Howard-Chuck with it on right wing. Tries to get around Gord Roberts, and Roberts continues his steady play defensively. Just buried Howard-Chuck, and the Bruins control and clear. Bodies banging against the boards, as you see, and here. Hasek banging his stick on the ice, indicating touch it up, boys. Icing will be the call, and as Carney does, the whistle blows. 12:52 left to go in the third period. It remains 5-3 Boston.
Sabres Palafontaine still on the bench in the natural rotation for the Sabres. His shift will be the next one, so we'll wait and see if he comes back on the ice after this big hit right here by Sweeney. Cross-check in the back, and down Patty goes.
Ouch. Play back on here in the Boston zone. Bruins trying clear, can't do it. Whipping around and sending a shot in was Randy Wood. He hit his old man Donald Audette in the back. And the puck comes loose to center. Really urging to skate from the Boston Bruin bench. Adam Oates, 1-on-3, however, trying to leave it for Cam Neely, who wasn't expecting it. Bruins have to clear the zone.
It was such a good fake. It faked Neely out. He just wasn't expecting that pass.
That's a heck of a fake. You fake Cam Neely out. Steve Leach goes for it for Boston. No scoring here in the third period. Remains a 2-goal Bruin lead. A game they must win or their season will be over. Right now, they're looking good. Right now.
Penalty coming up to Himmelab of the Sabres.
Adam Oates is down on the ice. That could have something to do with it.
I believe it was a hit on Raymond Bourque. Looks like he's getting a hooking call. I'm sorry, it's Sweeney going to the box.
Number 20, Bob Sweeney, the hero of Game 1 for Buffalo, the former Boston Bruin.
And you'll see it coming up here. There's the hook right there on Raymond Bourque. And I thought it was Himmelab because he gave Bourque a little extra smack in the way down, too. Sweeney not happy with the call, but it's the proper call. And with 11 minutes and 52 seconds left, is looking better and better for the Bruins.
Remember, in Game 3, it was a hooking penalty to Ray Bourque that set up the Buffalo Sabres on a power play that won the game for them.
And that was an overtime goal. Not a good play by Raymond. He doesn't make very many bad plays, but that was one.
Bourque having a little bit of trouble clearing the zone. Can't do so. Bodger with a blast. Hits high out the glass and back to center ice where Smellick has it. Smellick dumps it in. Remember now, Boston is on the power play. 1:35 left to go in the advantage, and Bourque lugs it to center ice himself. Offside, though, is Cam Neely, and the faceoff will come out to center. So the Bruins have used up just about 30 seconds of their power play opportunity and have yet to get it in officially to the Buffalo zone. Remember, Grant Fuhr started in net for the Buffalo Sabres as he has throughout the series. Played one period. Dominic Hasek came out, and Hasek has been in goal since. Fuhr, an injured right shoulder. We do not know the extent of the injury, but Dominic Hasek is in net tonight, and we'll have to see if there's a Game 5 if he'll be in net Monday night at Boston.
That could turn the table a little bit, couldn't it, if the Bruins happen to win this game?
Wow. Big development. Tom Draper, after Fuhr was diagnosed with the injury and taken out of commission, Draper, who was scratched before the game, put the uniform on, and he is now the Sabres' backup goalie. Bruins on the power play into the zone. Neely's pass, not connecting with anyone. Adam Oates with it. Looking, always looking. Adam Oates. Ray Bourque tries to one-time it and doesn't get good wood at all. The Sabres clear easily. And only for a few seconds. Nice Nice job there by Bodger.
Yeah, Sabres doing a good job keeping the Bruin power play off balance. They have done a tremendous job in the series up until tonight's game, where the Bees already have 2 power play goals. This looks more like the Sabre form of killing penalty from the first 3 games.
Oates trying to get around his man Ledger. Can't do it. Bob Corkum back there for it in the corner. Oh, Oates lost his balance. The glass held him up. Oates pass. The shot by Leach is a save by Hassett. Shaw with it now at the point. He lets it rip off the skates of Hannon, who almost had to break the other way. 8 seconds left. The shot is blocked by Shaw's shot is blocked by Hannon, I should say. And the Sabres have killed it off, so the teams are back at full strength.
Great penalty killing. Dave Hannon does it once again. 2 big blocks, and the Sabres are able to clear the zone.
Now, from the Buffalo perspective, you've done a nice job killing the penalty. Now it's time to turn the tide if you're going to do it in this game. LaFontaine to McGillney. The save is made by Moe. McGillney was breaking in right on Andy Moe.
Moe did not move an inch. He stood his ground, made McGillney make the first move. McGillney shot it right into him. A real nice piece of goaltending.
McGillney again, he scores!
And that's not a nice piece of goaltending. He doesn't come out and challenge. McGillney beats him between the legs.
The elation for Buffalo. Dejection for Boston. A 1-goal game with nearly half of regulation time remaining in the third.
Andy Moe, one-on-one against Alexander McGillney. Stops him once. Shortly thereafter, McGillney gets another chance. But he doesn't stop him that time. That's not a good goal, Andy Moe. And Andy made a great save just before that, Tom. And it seemed to me as the game was wearing on, he was gaining more and more confidence, playing better in the net. But now, the Bruins have only a 1-goal lead, and this game rests, very large extent, on the shoulders of Andy Moe.
Now, wait a minute. We're not in Detroit, are we? What is this? The Octopus.
That's dinner. We're taking a charter out of here tonight, and we're going to St. Louis for the St. Louis Hawk game tomorrow, or maybe that's our hors d'oeuvre on the plane.
Time of the goal, 10 minutes, 43 seconds. And this crowd is back into it now. By the way, Jim, that's your dinner. That's not mine. 5-4, and hold on to your hats. LaFontaine is back out there for Buffalo. He absorbs a hard check. Peter Doris racing forward for Boston. Hines and Keith Carney are back there. All of a sudden, the Bruins putting on pressure, and we're going to have penalties. Coincidental minors whistled by Denny Morrell. We'll sort them out for you when we return to Buffalo, where it is a 1-goal game. 8:58 remaining in regulation time.
Andy Moe makes a terrific save on Alexander McGillney. Right here as McGillney comes in one-on-one, Moe stands his ground. But McGillney beats him with this shot. You've got to wonder, a 2-goal lead, how do you let the guy open twice within 5 seconds to get that chance on your goaltender unhindered? I just think that's bad play in the Boston zone, Tom.
Play back on, Jim, and it's coincidental minors. You got Hines of Boston and Carney of Buffalo. Coincidental minors, one for high sticking and one for roughing. So it's 4-on-4 for the next minute 38 unless we have more penalties. And Grant Ledger took a stick up around the face. He is ailing at center ice for Buffalo. Howard check behind the Boston net in front. Score!
For Buffalo. Dale Howard gets good body position right there. David Shaw. Himmelef left completely uncovered in front of the Boston net. Where has the Bruins defensive zone coverage gone? As I mentioned earlier in tonight's broadcast, Himmelef, in my estimation, has been one of the better, maybe the best Sabre in this series, and he scores another big goal for the Buffalo Sabres.
And a crowd in an uproar. Some unthoughtful people are throwing debris on the ice, so to take a couple of seconds. Third goal of the playoffs for the Russian Yuri Himmelef.
Well, the Sabres can taste it now. They fought back. They've tied this game with 8.5 minutes left. They've got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. The Bruins have to stop the bleeding and get something going in the way of an attack themselves. They're leaving Andy Moog at the Sabres' mercy.
All right, play back on. A shell-shocked Boston Bruin team. Remember, Bruins lose tonight, and it's to the golf course tomorrow. After some time for reflection. Game you got to win, home or away, 2-goal lead, Jim. You figure to win it in the playoffs.
Absolutely have to win a game like this when you're up like that. And the Bruins still could. We're not saying it's over yet.
Oh, no.
They've got their work cut out for them now, folks.
They say momentum lasts as long as the next goal. The next goal very important in this game. 7:45 in regulation time. Kenny Sutton for Buffalo just dumps it in. You're Buffalo right now. What kind of attack offensively do you plan?
Don't change a thing. Keep going at them the same way. You fought back. You tied the game. Why lay back and let the Bruins come to you? Score more goals, and the Sabres are very good at doing that.
This is Grant Ledger carrying into the Boston zone. Ledger's got a shot, and it's just wide of the stick-sided Moog. The rebound to Himmelef. Himmelef. Howard shot. Deflecting it wide. Howard check intercepts. He shoots, and Moog comes up with a glove save. Oh, the Sabres are buzzing. We need a timeout. Jack Edwards, take it.
All right, Tom Mees. Also exciting stuff down on the island as Travis Green tips in the Claude Loisel pass to cut it to 3-2. And only a minute 20 later, Uwe Krupp throws the puck on goal. Pat Flatley is there for the rebound. It's 3-3. They go into OT again.
Why not? There's nothing to choose between those two. I tell you, I don't know why they just don't play the 7th game again. Take a look at the exploits of number 10, Dale Howardchuk.
Boy, he's had a strong game. He does a great job there. That's just hustle, stripping the puck off of Wesley. Wesley's a good skater. He should have had Howardchuk beat. That's just sheer determination. But how quickly he lifted the stick, turned around, got himself in position, and snapped a good shot on Andy Moog. Moog had to make a good save, or it would have been a 6-5 Sabre lead.
Cannon and Oates, the face-off, and the puck comes loose behind the Boston net for Ray Moore. 7 minutes, and the teams are now at full strength as the coincidental minors are over. Hardy just stepping out of the penalty box, lays the lumber to David Shaw of Boston. You couldn't have seen him coming. Cannon goes for it for Buffalo. Neely wraps him up with one arm and leaves it for Don Sweeney. Some weird bounces off those boards tonight for both teams. Mellick sends it back in onside for Buffalo. And Neely at center ice for Stephen Leach. Leach has stood up there nicely by Ledger right at the blue line. Bodker tries to clear, can't get it past Cam Neely. Oates is in the corner looking to center. Tim Sweeney couldn't get the shot away. The puck is still loose. And a whistle for a face-off by Denny Morrell. Back to Jack Edwards. Jack.
All right, Tom, 2-2 early in the third period in Montreal. A massive humanity goes with Gilbert Dion across in front of the goal, leaving Benoit Brunet alone. He puts it in only $1.07 into the third period. It's 3-2 now.
Great hockey all over North America tonight, Jim Shanko. And it's getting physical here at the Aud.
Well, it's time for grit. You got to separate the guys that want to play from the guys that don't. And there's Sweeney. Remember that hit he had in Pat LaFontaine? They're going to take a little extra liberty. Leach and Ledger meeting at the blue line. That's just a good play of a guy trying to rush and Ledger standing him up. But you know the hits are going to be fierce, but no one wants to put themselves in a position of taking a bad penalty. So you would expect the sticks to stay down, for the knees to stay under control, and for all the body checks from now to the end of this period to be good, hard, clean hits.
Donato and Howard chuck the face-off in the Buffalo zone. Boston wins it. Stéphane Richer behind the Sabre net. Backcourt is Kenny Sutton. And the Sabres clear to center all the way to the Boston zone. Will it be icing when Gord Roberts touches? Yes, it will. 5:43 to go. In a tie game, playoffs, a lot of icing last few minutes.
Shouldn't be. A bad move, guys, the puck, because the other team gets a chance to discuss the face-off again. They can change things differently. When you have a defensive zone face-off and lose it, it only takes one shot and the puck's in the net. If you're playing the game, the team has to make good plays all the way down the ice. So I would not ice the puck, or I would not want my players to ice the puck unless they were very desperate and had to get it out of trouble. Make a little sharper angle and bank it so it doesn't go all the way down the ice. Use the glass, feather it, get it out hard, but not ice it.
Donato and Howard Chuck will do it again. 5-5 from the odd. Two quick goals of the Buffalo Sabres. Mogilny and Hintlev have tied it up. Oh, in the slot, and a save by Hasek. Wow. The shot right in the slot, I believe it was Dmitry Kartalov. And Dominic Hasek comes up with maybe his best save of the night.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Howard Chuck wins the draw clean. It's not that he lost it, but a quick turnover. You've got 5 Bruins in the offensive zone. Boom, turnover, pass, shot. Hasek has to make a tremendous save to keep the score tied at 5s. There's the Bruin pursuit. They knock the defender off the puck, and here's the pass, a one-timer. And the Bruins continue to the net. A little scrum afterwards, but boy, you don't want to have face-offs in your own zone because this is what can happen. Good pursuit by Donato, knocks Sutton off the puck, and there's the shot. And if not for Dominic, it's a 6-5 lead for the Bees.
Buffalo wins the face-off this time. Smelling with it behind his own net. Donato and Kartalov doing a nice job there, but it comes loose, and here come the Sabres. Randy Wood. Wood is 1-on-2, but he'll carry in, and he's allowed to carry in by Gord Roberts. Wood behind the Boston net, now banged off the puck. You hear that banging going on with about 5 minutes to go in regulation. Wood loses control. This is Peter Doris, got a little room. He tries to get around Bodger. Doris centering pass hits the side of that, and Hasek taking no chances, covers up. 4 minutes, 56 seconds left in the third period. We're tied at 5 in game 4. It doesn't get any better than this, does it? Stanley Cup hockey time. Odd in Buffalo, standing room only crowd. Boston Bruins, proud franchise facing elimination, having a 2-goal lead, Jim, and the upstart Buffalo Sabres showing their resiliency have come back to town.
Big face-off once again in the Sabres zone. Third one in a row. LaFontaine wins it cleanly. The Sabres should get themselves out of trouble.
Carrying out is LaFontaine. Avoids the check from Poland. Sends Mogilny in. Mogilny is centering pass for May. Is deflected in front, and Doris covers up for Boston in the Bruins slot. Peter Doris to Dave Poulin. Poulin just lofting an easy little shot along the ice. Hasek has to make the save. Poulin really had no other play there.
No, Ledger did a nice job there. He angled Poulin. Poulin didn't have enough speed to get past him. Poulin just threw it to the net. And Hasek made a smart move in freezing that puck.
And a reminder, regional coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs tomorrow on ABC Sports. Many of you in the eastern part of the country will see the Pittsburgh Penguins trying to eliminate the New Jersey Devils. In the Midwest, most of you will see the Chicago Blackhawks at the St. Louis Blues, where the Blues will go for the sweep against favorite Chicago. And on the West Coast at noon Pacific time, the LA Kings try and even up their series against the Calgary Flames. That's on ABC. Regional coverage tomorrow. Our coverage on ESPN continues Tuesday night from Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. And our coverage of this game will continue long into the night if it takes that long. 4.5 minutes to go in regulation. Bob Sweeney knocks it to center for Buffalo. Don Sweeney with it for Boston. Leach has it now. Adam Oates carries in. Leach can't control, and it's Bodger. Right at the blue line is onside as Oates sends it in. Mellick around the boards, but not out. Wesley sends a shot high over the net. Oates gets there before Schmelik, but back the other way comes Bodger. 3:50 in regulation time.
A lot of play in the Sabres zone. One thing the Bruins have to guard against with this amount of pressure in the Sabres zone is the quick transitional game of the Sabres. Once they get possession, they pull guys out. They scored a lot of goals on breakaways and 2-on-1s because of Bruin pressure. They failed to put the puck in the net.
Low darting shot there by Wesley a moment ago, and Hasek had to pay attention with the glove. Richer, the Gord Roberts, softly into the Sabre zone. Bartolov goes to the corner. Centering pass, no one home, and here comes Randy Wood. This is Donato. Donato 1-on-3 will just loft it into the corner. Kenny Sutton. Tell you, wanted to wrap it around the boards and out, didn't get it there, but now here come the Sabres. 3-on-3. But the Bruins, with a nice poke check by Roberts, break that rush up. Remember, Boston trails in this series 3-0. Sabres trying to eliminate them tonight. Should Boston hang on and win in either regulation time with 2.5 to go or in overtime, there would be a 5th game Monday night at the Boston Garden, but only if Boston wins. Bruins, the regular season champs in the Adams division. Buffalo finishing 4th and losing their last 7 coming into the playoffs. Mogilny, his shot is tipped wide and high over the glass into the crowd with 2:18 left in regulation. There's our score now on the bunch scoreboard from ESPN. Well, we saw Washington and the Islanders still tied at 3. There we go. They're still tied at 3, and they look like they're going to go to overtime again. Montreal, we saw that goal that gave the Canadiens a lead with 11 minutes to go in the 3rd period against Quebec. What a series that has been, the battle for Quebec.
And we've got it all for you. If you want good hockey action, you've got your TV station tuned into the right channel, boy, and it has been great. Overtime games, exciting hockey, and we're 2 minutes and 18 seconds away from overtime here, but you've got an offensive face-off for the player, and Pat LaFontaine out to take the draw. John Muckler hopes LaFontaine can win this draw, get it back to Sutton. Sutton over to somebody, and just anybody put it behind any mode. We've mentioned it before, the Sabres do not want to make another trip to Boston this year.
Sabres have done an excellent job throughout the series winning faceoffs. And they control it again in the Boston zone. Ledger is taken down by Duras. Fans wanted a penalty, none forthcoming with 2:05 to go in regulation in a tie game. Steve Hines lofting one a little bit wide. And May has it at center ice. Tries to hit a breaking LaFontaine. LaFontaine tries to get around the defense, around the net in front. And not able to get a shot away was Kenny Sutton. Big defenseman steaming toward the net there. LaFontaine hit it, but a little bit too deep. Pulling back the other way. Ledger blocks it. Steve Hines behind the net. Oh, and Hasek has to leap out and cover up the loose puck with 1:37 left in the 3rd period.
Hasek does a real good job of staying strong against the short side post. Gives the Bruins nothing to shoot at. And once they make the shot, he makes the save and very alertly pounces on the rebound.
And surprise, surprise, it's official now, Jim. The Islanders and Caps are going to overtime on Long Island.
Long series for those guys. Here's a look. Hasek just staying right there. He gets his glove down. So you mentioned about the Sabres' ability to win defensive zone faceoffs. That gives them the luxury, Tom, of icing the puck more frequently than most teams would. If you have great confidence that your center can win that draw and you can make a play or two and get out of trouble, you're not as hesitant to ice the puck. But it's again another defensive zone draw that they have to win.
Face-off, Hannon and Oates.
And they do.
Yep. One of the most misunderstood and underappreciated phases of the game of hockey, the face-off.
Absolutely. Most good teams work on it a lot after practice. You get your centerman there. One's dropping the puck for the other two. Take about 10, 15 minutes a day. It's a real art to winning face-offs consistently.
And the puck goes into the Boston Bruin net, and the face-off inside the Boston zone. Checking out the scoreboard. There you see it. End of regulation. Washington and the Islanders. First, if the Isles should win at home, they'll take a 3-1 lead back to the Cap Center. But the Caps win. It'll be all even up. They'll have the home ice advantage back for what that's worth.
I think those guys must feel they're overpaid because they like to play the long games. They like those not only one overtime period, but 2 overtime periods. They're giving everybody their money's worth.
6 years ago, they played 4 overtimes, remember?
I do remember, yes.
Bill Clement in our studio remembers, I know. I'll never forget. Back to play here in minute 5 in regulation. We're facing overtime square in the face at the on. Puck is just laying there. Dennis Burrell not blowing the whistle because he still has sight of it and it was not tied up.
The hero of that game is on the ice tonight, Pat LaFontaine, who scored the game winner for the Islanders, and Buffalo fans would love for him to do the same tonight.
Here's Hannon, under a minute to go in regulation. He had Bob Sweeney cruising down the slot, couldn't get him the puck. 40 seconds to go now. There you see the clock superimposed in the right-hand corner. Ray Bort, 30 seconds and counting. 20 seconds away from overtime. I think Buffalo right now would take its chances with overtime. And for the Bruins, it would truly be a sudden death overtime because in their case, you lose and that's it. And we are going to sudden death overtime here in Game 4 at the On. And listen to these fans. Sudden death overtime is straight ahead. For Boston, their season is on the line. For the Sabres, a chance to sweep out the favorite Bruins. That's it from the On for now. Let's go to Jack Edwards. Jack?
Tom Mees, why do I have the feeling that the night is young? 5-5 at the odd, and the Islanders and Capitals, who have a penchant for going to overtime. Well, it was a 2-goal lead for Washington going into the third period down at Nassau Coliseum. Let's take a look at how the final 20 minutes of that game went. The Islanders coming back with Claude Loisel centering it. Travis Green tips it past Rick Tabarachi, and it's 3-2. And Uwe Krupp from the point. His drive gets knocked down in front, but Pat Flatley is there for the rebound. He fires it home. It's 3-3. And for the third consecutive game, those teams are going to overtime. Of course, the Islanders lead the series 2-1. If you're wondering if a series has ever gone to overtime for 3 consecutive games, yeah, it has. 1991, the LA Kings against Edmonton did it. That's where the Islanders and Caps are headed tonight. Montreal and Quebec are hooked up in a pretty good battle. We'll check on that in a minute. And remind you, the Bruins and Sabres are headed for sudden death overtime themselves. 5-5 at the end of regulation. Welcome back to National Hockey Night, where we're putting in some overtime tonight. The Bruins held a 5-2 lead against the Buffalo Sabres in the second period when Dave Poulin scored a shorthanded goal. But the Sabres scored 3 unanswered goals to tie it at 5, and they are headed for sudden death. If Buffalo scores the next one, the Bruins season is over. Well, the Quebec Nordiques are taking on the Montreal Canadiens up at the Forum. This was a 1-1 game after one period, and in the second, Jesse Belanger makes the hit, and Gary Lehman connects to make it 2-1 Montreal. Mike Hutt comes around to Pyle, takes the shot. It's saved, but Joe Sakic leans in and snaps it in to make it 2-2. Third period, Gilbert Dion stick handles around the corner. Puck comes out the side to Benoit Brunet, who wheels and fires and scores. And there's 6 minutes to go at the Forum. Montreal leads Quebec 3-2. So there's a 1-goal game in Montreal. There's a tie game in Buffalo. There's a tie game on the island. You got a feeling this night has a long way to go? Well, it's been said that the 2-goal lead is the hardest to protect, and here to help me dissect that, Bill Clement and Al Morganti. And we've seen 2-goal leads falling all over the place. The Bruins are up 5-3 going into the third. It's 5-5 now, headed to OT, Al.
Certainly all the momentum apparently, well, obviously looks to be on Buffalo's side. You look at their roster, everybody's doing their pools now. Who's going to score an OT? Well, if you have LaFontaine and McGillney on your team, you're favored to take it out of there. And the Bruins in such desperate straits, I got to think Buffalo comes in with all kinds of confidence in this overtime.
I'd like to know who said that the 2-goal lead is the hardest one to protect. At any rate, the Washington Caps have now 2 consecutive games lost 2-goal leads in the third period. Now, people would say, hey, that might have hurt the Caps coming into this game. Believe me, the first time that happened to them the other night is behind them. But when the situation presents itself again, like tonight, the Islanders were on the bench saying, hey, guys, we can come back from this. They're all saying that. This happened to us the other night. Washington Caps aren't saying, hey, we blew it the other night, but believe me, they remember. And I think those two factors contributed to this.
Well, the guy who said it was some ancient fella I met at the Forum under the seats. We're going to be going to the Montreal Forum to check out the Quebec Nordiques and the Montreal Canadiens in just a bit. Don't forget, National Hockey Night returns on Tuesday. Red Wings and Leafs, 7:30 Eastern time for that. For those of you who have tuned in to see the McDonald's High School All-America Basketball Slam Jam, well, hockey is taking over the network. You won't miss any of the Boston-Buffalo game, which is headed for sudden death, tied 5-5. First, bonus coverage as we send it to Montreal. The Canadiens leading Quebec 3-2 in the final 2 minutes of the game. Chris Cuthbert and Dick Irvin call the action from the Forum.
I don't know how early Pierre Pagé will pull him, but don't forget they scored twice. Now, who gets to the puck first? Leclerc was very upset. They first overskate him, and Hextall doesn't touch it. He lets it go. Who gets to it first? No, the Quebec player did. Leschyshyn was the one who got in with the heel of his stick, but that was a close call, and credit to the linesman. He made the right call despite the protest from Leclerc. Remember, the Nordiques scored twice with the goalie out in Game 1. Hextall looks like he was almost going to touch it, but Leschyshyn just makes it. And from the face-off, Huffman shot right on. Tom Foose gathers in the rebound ahead to Carbonneau. Guy Carbonneau flipping it around the glass. Used every bit of the glass to keep that in play. And the Canadiens will try to keep it down in the Quebec zone. A few extra seconds clicking off the clock. Down to 1:51. And a face-off in the Quebec zone. Now Foose winning that particular battle against Huffman in the corner of the rink, and the ruling is the puck stays in the Quebec zone. Sometimes the referee will point outside the line if the attacking player, if you will, cause the whistle to be blown. 1:51. And that's how much left on the clock for the Canadiens to even this series. And here's the main reason it is just 3-2 with 1:51. Jacques Demers making sure Mike Keane and company are ready. Right now he's got a young line that put him on top. Belanger, Dion, and Brunet, who scored the goal early in this third period. Brunet steals. He was the goal scorer, centering it. Belanger couldn't find it. Sundin starts back. Big Matt Sundin, and it's offside at the line. Interesting play back in the Quebec zone. Brunet had the puck. He could have killed some more time. He dumped it out in front. His teammates were covered. The Nordiques sprung free up ice, but then went offside at the Montreal line. But you're right, Chris. This young line, I don't think Canadian followers would have wagered when this series began that in a situation like this, there would be a line on the ice with 1:36 left and a one-goal game of Belanger, Brunet, and Dion. But hey, the coach goes with the hot hand, and they played a very strong game tonight. There's Hextall. We'll be watch him to see when he leaves. 1:36 to go, but Pierre Pagé with just one goal to get, not bringing Hextall out yet. Overtime has begun on Long Island. Canadians winning the faceoff. Duchesne, lead pass Kamensky. Hextall cheating out. He'll have to go back, and he falls as Kamensky. No, Hextall got up and went to the bench. Nordiques still had control, so he went to the bench. An extra attacker on. Second, backhands it in. There's Lapointe centering it. Loose. Canadians clear. Kept in by Leschyshyn. And no, they're going to call it offside. Boy, that was close, but Brad Lazarowicz was right there to make the call. And Curtis Leschyshyn does not argue the call. So he was hoping to get away with it. Pierre Pagé does, but his player, who handled the puck right at the line, just turned and skated back into position and did not argue the point at all with Brad Lazarowicz. Now here's Hextall. As you say, Chris, he took a look over his shoulder. He saw that his teammate had possession, so he kept going. And he is still on the bench, and there are 65 seconds remaining in regulation time. Now here's the play. The puck is at the line. The puck is out over the line.
Great call. You saw Sweet knocks on the icing, Brad Lazarowicz on the offside. Close calls, and they were both made correctly. Minute 3 to go, and the net is empty. Position Duchesne, Sakic, Ricci, Scott Young, and Rasinski. Ricci fires it in, but Desjardins, they're off the boards. They get it outside the line, thanks to Mike Keane. Rasinski back in. Desjardins hammers it off the boards down the ice. Duchesne back, icing the call.
And the Nordics get what they want again with 36.5 seconds left. A face-off in the Montreal zone. All right, now they really hunker down here. Some of the Nordiques looking over toward the bench. Who's on, who isn't? Jacques Demers talking to Mike Keane. The 7 games involving these teams in the regular season were decided long before this. There wasn't a close one in the bunch. Every one of these has been tight. 2 out of the first 3 into overtime. And this one isn't decided yet. There could still be overtime at the Forum as the fans get into it.
All on their feet now. Canadians win the draw. Duchesne back with a half minute to go. Nordiques wheeling out of their zone. Sundin can't take the pass. Now Sundin blocks it. Here's Sundin deep in the zone, centering it. Kovalenko after it. Sakic against the boards. Keane looking for the loose puck. It springs free. Desjardins, empty net. Backhand. Keane can't deflect it in. But Nordiques are out of time.
All right, so we now send it to Buffalo. The Bruins and Sabres set for sudden death OT as Montreal has tied their series 2 games apiece.
Thank you very much, Jack Edwards. Tom Bees along with Jim Schoenfeld from the Odd in Buffalo. Andy Moog has to be feeling the pressure in the net for the Boston Bruins. And, of course, Dominic Hasek. Hasek took over for Grant Fuhr, who left after the first period with an injured shoulder. Those are the 2 men that have the responsibility of keeping the puck out of the net. For the Bruins, if they lose, their season is over. The Sabres are trying to sweep Boston out of the playoffs. They lead the series 3 games to none. Should Boston win, Game 5, Monday night in Boston. The final in Montreal means that the Canadiens and Quebec Nordiques are tied at 2, heading back to Le Colisée in Quebec City Monday night. Plenty of goal-scoring power on each side heading into the overtime. You heard Al Morganti saying, and I think correctly so, theorizing that all the momentum has to be with the Buffalo Sabres coming back from that 2-goal deficit in the 3rd period. Bob Sweeney carries in. And taking no chances, Andy Moog covers up. Take a look at the scoreboard. That's the final now. Montreal beating Quebec 3-2 to even the series, Jim.
Well, I thought that would be a long one. It's one of the few series I've been right on, and it looks like it's going to go the distance.
And on the island, they're in overtime. Washington and the Islanders, and of course, we'll show you and tell you about that should it come to a conclusion while we're here in Buffalo.
Yeah, they should start scheduling those games with 4 periods. It seems every time they meet, they go into overtime. But you have to think, you know, if you're looking to the future in the next round, the team that comes out of there victoriously is really going to be tired facing whoever they're, well, we know who their opponent's probably going to be, the Penguins, so maybe it wouldn't matter if they were fresh or not.
Might as well have fun while you can. Face off to the right of Andy Moog. Loose one in the slot, but the Bruins knock it to the corner. Ray Board. Board tries to clear and does so. Peter Duras at center off his stick, and Ledyard rams it back in the Boston zone. Ford goes back for it. LaFontaine takes it away in front. And McGilley now to Ledyard in the slot. Moog never saw it. It was over the top of the net. He never reacted to that shot by Ledyard. Ledyard lofting it in again, and a whistle and an offside call. Play was offside, face off at center.
The puck went over the net. Andy Moog did not see it. He heard it hit the glass, and he was still looking behind over his left shoulder as the puck went back to the point. Ledyard had another shot.
And we played 1 minute and 10 seconds of sudden death overtime. Remember in game one, if you follow this series, overtime, 11 minutes and 3 seconds in, former Bruin, now Sabre, Bob Sweeney. Maybe they didn't expect him to shoot. He did, and he scored. And then here at the Aud in Buffalo, well, there was also overtime a couple of nights ago. And Buffalo won that one as well. Yuri Himalev scored at 105. Who will be the hero tonight for either Boston or Buffalo? Cam Neely at center. Neely trying to get around Schmelik, can't do it. Back at center, it's Himalev. Himalev still fighting for possession, dumping it into the Boston zone, where Bork has it for the Boston Bruins. Played almost 2 minutes of sudden death. Cam Neely over to Steve Leach. Leach the shot. Hasek the save, and Schmelik is there. With every shot on goal, Jim Schonfeld, the crowd hooing it on. Duras gets by Schmelik. Peter Duras the shot. Hasek the save. The rebound, and Schmelik clears it out of harm's way. What a play by Schmelik. And Hasek.
And Duras.
Yeah. This crowd, the standing room only throng, holding their collective breath on that Boston Bruin attack.
Well, the Bruins taking it to the Sabres are not sitting back. That's the way to approach overtime, I think. You just go for it. Go for the win. Do it intelligently, but go for it.
Here comes Boston. At center ice, this is Hines. He's got Duras and Sweeney. Hines gets the pass from Don Sweeney. Can't get a shot away, and LaFontaine buries him into the boards. In front, shot, and Hasek to save. Peter Duras was robbed by Dominic Hasek.
Boy, Dominic Hasek looks terrific at the start of this overtime. He's the only reason we're still playing this hockey game. He has come up with one great save after another, and he absolutely robs Peter Duras. You're going to see LaFontaine throw a big hit here on Hines. McGilley skates past the puck. Now it's going to come out to the front of the net as Poulin hustles in. Now watch Duras in a quick pad save by Dominic Hasek, and he covers up the rebound. A real nice piece of goaltending. There's the crunch again by LaFontaine. Now Hasek's following the puck. Watch, he's coming right over. Good concentration. And I like the fact, Tom, that he has control of the rebounds. A lot of goaltenders make that initial save. The goal is generally scored on a rebound. So he not only made the save, but he had the presence of mind and the physical ability to cover it up for a face-off. And again, the Sabres with their great face-off record in the defensive zone.
Face-off in the Buffalo Sabres zone. Randy Wood with it. Woods passes intercepted by Tim Sweeney. Picked it right out of the air, but for Buffalo, Howardchuk saves it momentarily, but not out. Wow. Kartalov behind the Buffalo net. Wood is checking him. Randy Wood takes it away. Donato takes it away from him. Kartalov looking to center. Ledyard is on him. Every check being made. Every man being marked here. Everything, I mean everything, riding on it for the Boston Bruins as Donato is sent sprawling by Sutton at the blue line. Sabres want to lift out, but they lift it over the glass into the crowd. Let's take a breather and join Jack Edwards.
In sudden death on the island, the Isles spring Benoit Hode. He's in alone, tries to go 5-hole, but Rick Tabaracci denies him. They continue, and we do in Buffalo.
Thank you, Jack. Wonder what's going through Brian Sutter's mind right now.
Well, right now you don't think about anything except the job at hand. You're thinking of getting the right people on the ice for the situation. You still want to match up your defensive line with LaFontaine's line. You aren't thinking about this being a 3-0 series and this is elimination. You focus solely on the job at hand.
Bodger finally controls the face-off to Yuri Himalev. Himmelev tying this game up. And 11:36 to the third period. That's why we're in sudden death overtime. This is Gord Roberts carrying the puck into the Sabres zone. Roberts of Boston. Bumped off there by Schmelik. And a four-player scrum on top of the puck. Denny Morel blows the whistle for a face-off. 16:06 remaining in the fourth period. Just a couple of nights ago in the same building at 1:05 of overtime, Dale Hawerchuk took a shot. The result was a rebound. There's the face-off. Coming back to Hawerchuk, the initial shot. The rebound comes up to Hawerchuk, and somehow it hit Yuri Himmelev in front. He said he didn't even feel it, but it went off his body into the net. And that's why the Sabres are trying to eliminate Boston tonight.
And back again, another defensive zone face-off. There have been a lot of face-offs in the Sabres zone from the third period on, but they've won most of them and gotten themselves out of trouble. The Bruins have to do something differently. Instead of trying to win the puck back to the point, Oates should go to his wingers and say, look, I'm going to go ahead with this draw. Beat the Sabres to the punch in the corner, then Oates could go to the front of the net, maybe a bang-bang play, you get a scoring chance. They keep trying the same thing, drawing it back, and they're continually beaten by the Sabres centers.
Shots on goal tonight. 36 for Boston, 27 for the Buffalo Sabres as I speak. Sweeney cheated a little bit on the face-off, and he's not the first to do that. He controls it.
And once again, the Sabres win it, and they're right out of trouble. The Bruins have to capitalize if they're going to win this hockey game on offensive zone face-offs.
Hasek with a rather routine save for Barger. Adam Oates cruising in. Oh, he stole it away. Was trying to center for Nealon. The Sabre defense cut it off, and now Hasek has to cover up.
Boy, I think that was Dave Hannon. A good read. He got his stick down, prevented that pass from coming out front. And Hasek again with a save and again with a cover-up. And you can't emphasize enough the confidence the Sabres have in their centermen winning faceoffs. They're not hesitant to ice the puck. The goaltender is certainly not hesitant to freeze it. And right there, he's doing exactly that. You've got Poulin on the ice. And Muckler is changing up. He had LaFontaine coming. Yeah, LaFontaine's still on there. He's just changing his defensemen. Sutton and Ledger making their way to the ice. And now Alexander McGillney's coming. And Poulin is one of the Bruins who is generally very good at winning faceoffs. You've got Raymond Bourque in the left point, so you know where he wants to win it. We'll see how the confrontation between Poulin and LaFontaine comes off.
Shots on goal in the overtime. 3 for Boston, 0 for the Buffalo Sabres.
Poulin mixed it up a little bit. He tried to go ahead with that one. That's good thinking, David.
Poulin trying to gain possession in the corner, but Sutton is there now for Buffalo. LaFontaine clears the center, but pays the price. David Shaw buries him. Puck goes out of play for a face-off.
Once again, that was Don Sweeney and LaFontaine, and they're talking a little bit right now. They've been at each other all night long with a couple of real big hits. I don't know who got the better of that one. Sweeney's hitting low. I think LaFontaine's shoulder got into the shoulder of Sweeney coming across. That's a pretty good collision by two excellent hockey players.
Originally thought it was Shaw, but it was Sweeney delivering the hit. There you see it about halfway through the first overtime. You have to mention first, talking about Washington and the Islanders. They've played a 2-overtime game already in this series. 8 of the 15 Wales Conference playoff games, by the way, have gone to overtime. We've been speaking about the face-off. Buffalo with only a 6 face-off advantage, but it seems a lot more than that late in the third period and here early in the overtime.
Where they're winning the big face-offs is in their defensive zone. That's the key draw. That's the one you have to win, and that's the one that the Sabres have been winning.
LaFontaine and Poulin. And the face-off sends the puck into the Buffalo zone again, where Keith Carney goes back for it. LaFontaine tripped up, no penalty. Gets it ahead to May. May is in, he shoots! He scores!
Bourque, and there he beats Bourque one-on-one as Raymond came across and played the puck. He's got a knock to check on the ice here. Good speed by May, a feed from LaFontaine, and he just keeps on going, keeps on driving. There's the move. A great move past Bourque, and look at how he throws Andy Moe. A little fake. Brad May scores the goal, and he wouldn't let anybody near him. He made his way around the ice here at Memorial Auditorium. He's a great young kid, Tom, and boy, this has to be the happiest moment of his professional career.
The Buffalo Sabres have eliminated the Boston Bruins in 4 straight games. 4th seed eliminating the number 1 seed. 6-5 the final. Brad May the hero. Buffalo moves on. They finally make it out of the first round. Thanks for being with us from the Odd. For Jim Schottfield, I'm Tom Bees. Back to Jack Edwards. Jack.
All right, Tom. It is the